Dun 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 dun.
No, we do the Top Gear ripoff these days.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really? Is that all that goes before the show? Because I feel like we're missing some prime banter.
Well, that was someone else's suggestion. Fine, this is all the beginning of the show now. Fuck it.
No, I thought he went banter. I'm Jeremy Clarkson, but not really. And then
We need to look
No,
at
because we have to do a cut, and I don't do cuts.
we need to
Alright.
look at the analytics.
Yeah, we need
See,
the analytics.
Yeah.
I want... See, the banter comes after the intro now. And if there's something we do funny point, it comes after the credits.
Right, I should watch this show.
Yeah.
There's your pre-show.
Tonight on 8.5-bit, Glittermitten Grove and Game of the Year. Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 199 of 8.5-bit, which I'm sure is going to be the most end of the year 2016 episode of them all. I'm your host, Paul, and joining me today are my good friends Jeremy.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
And boys, how's your Christmas?
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I had a lot of food. I made a food baby. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I had more booze than food. Like, that's just the vegetarian lifestyle at Christmas.
I made...
You can't have a roast beer, can you?
No.
It's quite a pity.
I did have some artisanally roasted beans in a coffee, though, so that counts.
You see, even like great roast potatoes going to use duck fat or something like that on them, so they're out for you too.
No,
or do
like-
people just not warn you?
My dad makes amazing roast potatoes without any fat.
So what is the... Because me going to Christmas, it's all about the ham. Like, I need that honey glazed ham. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what's the vegetarian equivalent of honey glazed ham?
Honey glaze.
Yeah, honey. You know the little pineapple rings that they
Oh
put
man, I
onto...
love those.
I just eat those. That's my Christmas dinner.
And you get the ham flavor that's gone
Yeah,
through it,
the
so you can taste it but not feel bad about it.
It's like murder adjacent.
Yeah.
No, we do a ton of cold salads and stuff. So
Okay.
potato salad. My sister does a really nice watermelon feta salad.
Describe the potato salad.
Creamy eggs, no
Yeah.
bacon.
Is it
obviously.
eggy and garlicky?
No garlic.
Is it chives?
Yeah. See, we like the garlicky mayonnaise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the garlic. Like I think I've had your potato salad with garlic. It's really good.
Where are you on pickle?
In the potato salad. That sounds wrong.
No,
throw in-
it's amazing.
They put
No, see-
celery in. I don't fuck with celery.
Celery.
Oh, celery can go fuck itself.
No, celery's fine.
Celery is the worst thing ever created by
It's
man.
the most
Although,
benign
admittedly-
thing.
Would you like some stringy shit that just is water?
Yeah, if it's crunch. Get that crunch.
But it's not
No,
just water. It's
no.
got a taste to it.
It's got
I was
it's
so
got a,
disappointed.
it's got
when
a taste of AIDS to it.
I was so disappointed when I found I didn't like celery because the idea of ants on a log that appeals to me so much. That perfect snack of celery and peanut butter and like sultanas.
Oh, celery and peanut butter. I haven't had with sultanas though.
That's ants
That's
on a log.
ants
It's
on
a
a log,
very
yeah.
classic.
I've seen that
I haven't
before.
seen
They call them
See-
raisins, but I still don't know
Yeah.
the difference between a raisin and a sultana.
Yeah, I think once it's
Branding.
But like
They
ocean
can sell
spray or
twice,
whatever. Like and Sunbeam, they'll sell different packages. Like
Yeah.
it probably is.
I think they're just
branding.
bigger. I think their raisins are a bit bigger than sultanas.
I know sultanas can be pretty big, but
Maybe they're not dried as much. I don't know.
I feel raisins would be drier.
Yeah.
That's just off my gut, though.
Is it a different kind of grape? It's like one.
This is a
green,
terrible
one-
conversation.
I believe it's the
Any-
same thing. No, this is the best conversation we've had yet.
But no, even with peanut butter, celery is awful.
Yeah. Peanut butter and celery doesn't go well together.
The
It
amount
ruins
of
peanut butter.
dishes that go like start with some onions, and then throw in some celery and some carrots. Like fuck the celery, it'll ruin
I
this
reckon
dish.
you put celery in the soup and you get some of that celery flavour going through it.
And then you can throw the soup directly in the garbage disposal.
Oh no, I'll fuck with celery if it's in like a soup and there are a ton of veggies and ingredients going in there, and it's just adding a bit more like a oomph, a bit more. Body.
I don't think there is any other bad vegetable in the world other than celery. Find me one. Everything is delicious, but celery is just cancer in vegetable
man.
form. No, not even peanut butter can truly save it. The only reason that works is because it masks the taste of the celery. And occasionally, sometimes they accidentally get a bit and ruin the whole thing.
Subtlety to the celery.
No, it's the fact that it's not subtle.
Hey, can I ask, where do you come in on coriander?
Coriander, I do not like, that I can bear in small
Oh man, I love
proportions.
coriander.
No, I'm completely out of coriander. I wonder
Really?
if those two horrible things are related.
Coriander is there. Apparently, is a gene that makes it taste very
soap
different
gene.
to people. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Although I never would have described it tasting soapy to
I
me.
heard
just
there's a-
Yeah, I hate it, but yeah.
I heard
soap
there's a
is
gene that does that with the whole asparagus pea thing. Like there are
Asparagus is a great vegetable.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
delicious.
But wait, when you have the asparagus and you pee, do you smell it?
I don't get down on my hands and knees.
it's not rancid.
No, but can you smell the smell?
Yeah, it smells like
It's
it's
a little
like
bit
a funny
smelly, yeah.
sweet
Yeah.
smell.
Yeah, but I heard that it's actually not everyone gets that smell.
Oh,
not everyone
man.
makes it, and not everyone can actually smell it. Because Cheryl can't smell it.
Cheryl's a freak.
She's weird.
She's a Christmas freak.
Is it an Asian thing?
It could be. There are genetic differences. She can't drink beer.
What?
Why not?
She gets
Does her mouth not consume
no,
liquids?
no.
What about tiger beer?
No. It's something called the Asian flush. It's this sort of common genetic thing.
Sounds
No, I'm not making this shit
That's
up.
like sounds like something like far right wingers talked about in the 90s.
The Asian flush.
The Asian flush is
Yeah.
going to make a toilet of
No,
Australia.
The Asian flush is when I was in Vietnam and had to shit in that urinal and I had to run away as quickly as possible.
No, if Cheryl has beer, she just goes bright red and feels nauseous. Like she doesn't have the enzyme to break it down. Like all the whiteys have been off raping, pillaging, and drinking for a long, long time. We genetically we're pretty disposed to it.
Is it just beer or is it just all alcohol?
I just want to say, I
Alcohol.
have an
Just
enzyme
alcohol.
that doesn't break things down, and it's called diabetes.
So you
sure?
can relate.
Are you sure this isn't a medical thing that your doctor partner is unaware of?
Not every person, but it's just more prominent in Asians.
Told my phone not to disturb us for
Yeah.
2 hours.
I'm gonna.
I forget to do that all the
gonna
time.
make
There's
sure
always
mine's
one notification during the show at least where I
put it
go,
on silent.
oh, oops. Okay, so video games. So we were going to do Game of the Year today,
Yep.
which I'm calling Game of the 16.
Yes.
Which, because I'm so ready for next year, I was non-purposely calling it Game of the 17.
I know. I saw that.
Yeah, because I'm just already trying to train my brain to write 17 at the end of dates.
I
I'm
know,
surely...
I'm still writing 1987 on all my chats.
Oh, you fool. Anyway,
You're still writing checks.
Yeah, that's the joke.
That's the joke.
That's the joke, James.
Jokes. I get jokes.
Great, now we have to edit that.
I've heard of a joke. I had
Not on this show.
So we can't do Game of the 16 though because the biggest game of the year came out a couple of weeks ago, and
Only was found today.
it was only discovered today.
Okay, what is it?
Well, as I told in the show intro,
Like most big
it's
games, it's a
Glittermitten
sequel.
Grove.
I've never heard
but
of this.
really, like most big releases these days, most AAA big blockbuster, it is a sequel.
So, if you've not heard the big news, Frog Fractions 2 has been discovered
Oh, it's been
inside the mid-December release,
Yeah.
Glittermitten Grove.
Yep.
Where you can get to it through a couple of doors in the game. It's a separate game, but you have to get through it through another existing game.
When did Glittermitten Grove come out?
2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago.
Something like
Yeah.
Okay. And it was just completely unannounced and someone just discovered Frog Fractions.
that? Yeah, I didn't get to
Well,
the
see,
point.
Frog Fractions has had a huge ARG around it.
Yeah.
Literally, there have been, sigils inside games for years.
Yeah.
Like, one was going to be in No Man's Sky, but they decided against it and stuff like that. So that probably worked out well for them. But they've been, like 2-3 years, these sigils have been appearing. So
Sorry,
there's
New
sigils?
sigils.
sigils.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Oops.
I thought sigils
Was he
cute.
trying to say
You know
signals?
what? You know what? Never heard it pronounced before.
Sigils.
I only read it.
Sigils.
I only read it in RPGs.
Man, time to play The Witcher again. They're all about sigils, aren't
Do
Sigils.
they?
they? Sigils.
Sigils? Oh, is it-
They love sigils.
Is it sigils you use your magic?
It is.
With your
Magic.
mona.
Magic. Mona. Ooh. Hey, I don't know adding different syllables there. I mean, different.
No, I think it's cute. I like
Yeah.
it. A sigil.
It's adorable.
Sigil, sigil.
Sigils.
It's just the. Yeah. It's still. It's a defendable pronunciation.
No, I'm not. As far where I stand, if I understand what you're saying, the communication has been, the meaning has been sent, and you've succeeded at language.
Yeah, except I'm so used.
That's my old line. That's not my old line. Remember? So
I'm so used to not understanding things, though. So I'm like, what the fuck is a sigil?
So the old story goes,
Yep.
a friend of mine, Scott Lehman, we'll name drop him by name, he came up to me once and he was describing a shape and he said an etagon. And I said, you mean an octagon? And he said, you knew what I meant, you pretentious fuck. And he was correct. He had used language to properly convey meaning, and I was just being pedantic. We weren't any better off with me telling you it was an octagon.
Except, like, for future reference, I feel like having defined words really does like liven up and quicken the communication
I'm all
process.
about the fluidity of language.
Fluidity of language is important. Now, while
that's
fact,
true.
defining words is important, it exists, but if
Are we going to
communication
get
is
back to the
achieved...
ironic argument?
No, please, God, no.
No, irony's already changed its meaning several times. It's fine. Well, it's like, we were talking, I think we were talking about on the show the other week as well. Literal now...
Literally doesn't mean literally.
Yeah, if you say something literally, it in the dictionary means figuratively. As an alternative, it still means literally as well. Anyway, Glittermitten Grove, I have not had the chance to download it and find out what Frog Fractions 2 is yet.
No, I haven't. I immediately went to the Steam page. It had 6 user reviews. It was not a blockbuster release. Okay. I imagine that'll change in the coming days.
But I was... Because this story has gone out on like Polygon, Kotaku, places like that. So, okay, I assume this is real. But I also just imagine that itself is a prank, and suddenly thousands of people flock to Glittermitten.
As a marketing thing, if I went in, I made some shitty game and just like put frog fractions in it, you get so many sales.
Yeah,
It'd
exactly.
be genius. It'd be so good.
And it's not. It's a Frog Fractions 2, not the Frog Fractions 2. That's where the trick would be.
Because I like the idea of this becoming almost like a game design meme. Where it's just like, it becomes like, if you make a game, you hide frog fractions in there somewhere. And so just some little hidden thing that different designers have the different takes on what is a frog fraction. And you go off and explore. I reckon that'd be awesome.
1 out of 3 toads!
Next game.
Oh, yeah,
Put
okay.
it in, frog fraction.
Okay, so enough of Glittermitten Grove.
Yeah, which we cannot comment about.
Now, 2016.
Mm-hmm.
What a year. So I had started writing down a bunch of categories for us to do awards for, and today I thought, fuck it, because what does that actually add?
Nothing.
Nothing really. You end up with categories that are specifically designed to talk about specific games. So how about we just talk about the year as a whole and how it went? So the year started.
I don't know where we started. Like, I'm thinking Firewatch, The Witness, are the first
I
big
think
games of 2016. I remember.
Yeah, I want to start at like the first one, which was so good. I knew it was going to be one of my contenders.
Pony Island.
Pony Island.
No, Witcher. Not Witcher. Witness. But
Wait,
Witcher.
Wait, this was like 2 months into the year.
Yeah. All right. Okay. What was before it?
Pony Island. It came out in like January 2 or something.
All right. We can start there. But Witness for me was the first standout of like, this is a contender.
Yeah. Okay. So if we're going to talk about things that are potentials as, well, not even game of the year. Like we'll give something arbitrarily game of the year at the end of this. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We'll say this is our bullshit.
Is like the most, I don't want to say impactful games of the year, but the games that did something worth talking about.
Well, I also...
Whereas like The Witness is a strong contender because a puzzle game like that, with that level of depth and, you know...
See, I would talk about games that have come out this year that are both very good games. Well, they don't even need to be very good games, but generally, yes.
Yeah.
But have also had some sort of lasting impact on the industry, become iconic in their own way. So The Witness certainly lends to that. Like, it's one of the best looking games out, despite the fact it really doesn't use those visuals for anything important other than putting you in a fantastic environment.
Yeah.
And that is part of the game design, so that's very important.
I thought we'd have a VR version by now.
Yeah, I think some people hacked around one, but there's not an official one.
Would it work well in VR? Like, it would be like...
See, the problem with VR is there are a bunch of perspective puzzles.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's
Which
what I was going to say.
it forces the camera into a particular perspective. If you don't... But then it also could let you fudge some of those a little bit by moving your head around and...
Yeah.
So
some
I'm
reason,
sure it
when
could
I
be
think of
done.
The Witness, I think of the puzzles in the... I don't know what the area is called, like a grove or whatever, and you had to trace the shadows from the branches.
Yeah.
So that's the quintessential Witness puzzle to me.
I think with... rather than just being a port, it would actually just be kind of interesting to see Jonathan Blow go, you just go make puzzles specifically for VR.
Go make a puzzle Witness cave.
Yeah. And then just see what comes out of that.
Have you got to the caves yet?
I can't remember.
They're post-game.
No, I didn't get to the caves.
See, that's where the real game starts.
No. The real game starts at 60.
Oh.
Well, that was always kind of true.
It was actually kind of
Do
true.
we have to do
That's
this
why I
in
never-
chronological order, or can we jump back?
No, we can jump around, but we'll try to say on
really
a
quick-
individual... If we mention a game, we won't go back to it.
Really quick, I did want to talk about... Okay, well, let's keep talking about The Witness then.
You get one chance.
Because I just like, it took me like, I don't know, a good 20 seconds to process what you told, so... No, okay, we'll go back to The Witness because I don't have much to say about this. But like, one of the biggest disappointments this year was Legion. And not the game itself. The disappointment was me for buying it and subscribing again.
Oh, well, I did the same thing. It was the expansion which made me realise I should probably never buy a WoW expansion again. I think I'm done.
Like,
I think that boat has sailed.
and like when we talk about impactful, this was the opposite of that. Like, it was well made. So many of the things were good. The content was good. The new classes were good. The lore was good. But the game was still a 12-year-old game that has lost all appeal to me. And I got to the point where I subscribed for a month and I said, I've made too much of a financial commitment to not play this game, and I hate playing this game.
Yeah, it has that.
I hate playing it too.
Good for you, Paul.
Has that problem of at its core it's a 12-year-old game.
Yeah.
Game for 12-year-olds.
12-year-olds might like it.
It's also a game that's had its time. Like,
Yeah.
It was good.
I felt like it was an
experience.
It was the expansion for the people who are already playing it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're still super into that game, it's a great expansion.
Warcraft 2 is still the best Warcraft.
Warcraft 3 was actually
Warcraft
fucking
3.
great.
I think I prefer Warcraft 3.
You all know what my argument is there.
Battle, whatever.
Yeah.
Battle.
Warcraft 3 just a rip-off of Battle Realms.
Yeah, but Blizzard's been ripping off shit for years.
Bad rip-off.
It's a good rip-off.
And I'm sure it's something...
Shitty game.
I'm sure Blizzard ripping off other games won't be something we talk about later.
No,
Anyway, but back to The Witness. So I didn't finish it. I played it quite a bit. I
didn't
probably
finish
played like 6 hours of it or so.
So that might actually not be all that much of it.
But that's 6
It's a
hours
pretty
of
big
like
game.
gameplay, not 6 hours of me like banging my head and being like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
Witness is a triumph in teaching the player.
Yeah, I think I finished like 4 or 5 sections.
Oh, that's significant. Maybe it's like a third.
Okay, so yeah, I played a lot, and it was really good. Like, it got to the point where the game was like too frustrating and slow for me, like, because I had a bunch of other games I wanted to play and get into, and I was playing The Witness, and I'm like, this is great, but it gave me too many excuses to leave.
If you were
the lack of story stopped me from...
If you were getting frustrated with The Witness, I recommend Steven's Sausage Roll.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, a really quick aside, this isn't about a game, but like, this is about the misery of the games subreddit on Reddit, you know, /r/games.
Yeah, the only game's one worth reading.
The no fun allowed games. On Christmas Day, like, the top post was a review of Steven's Sausage Roll.
Yeah.
There's no talk about Christmas festivities, and no one's just like, hey, what's good for Christmas, guys?
That's for the dummies over in gaming.
Yeah,
like
people who enjoy games.
Yeah, every because I still have gaming like on my subreddits for some reason.
Yeah.
Every time it's like, hey, look, I took a screenshot in Skyrim. Downvote. I don't care what it is. I'm done with this. Fucking every day. Hey, look, I could put a bucket on someone's head. Fuck off. I'm getting real angry.
But anyway, r/games is a miserable place.
No, it's the best place.
And
It's
I
the only
go
place to
there
be.
and I don't want to play.
It's not even the most serious subreddit.
Yeah, True Gaming.
True Gaming's where it's at, Reddit.
I don't feel I miss anything by not subscribing to any Reddit whatsoever.
Yeah,
I feel like my life is enriched for this.
I don't know. Okay, we're not going to go into Reddit as Reddit's great. You just tailor it to be what you want it to be.
Like, I go to like 3 or 4 specific subreddits, and I avoid the other places, like the elephant graveyard from The Lion King.
So yeah, games which you hate.
Games I go to,
Space Dicks. And,
once every like 4 days, I go to gaming just to remind myself that people enjoy video games. And I go to
they're all idiots.
As a Reddit nub.
Yeah.
What's the core difference between games and gaming?
Games is a subreddit only about games. Mm-hmm. So if you say like, hey, this YouTuber's doing this, they're like, deleted thread. It's like, it's just a subreddit about games. If you go to gaming, it's all, here's a bunch of memes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Total Biscuit, every other thread.
Screenshots, funny gifs from GTA 5.
If you want to know why I don't like Reddit, it's because I got shadow banned at one point. It took me like a year to realize. I think I was just posting like show episodes or something like that.
Self-promotion.
Self-promotion, which, okay, I was like, I kind of get that that'd be banned, but I really didn't like was it was a silent ban. I had no idea it happened.
Shadow bans are rough.
Yeah. But like, just tell me, and be like, okay, well...
moderators are just people, and those people can be dickheads.
Yeah, and I think it was like, it just brought memories of all this like forum bullshit I had when I was back on forums when I was younger. I'm like, I just don't care.
I think like part of it is Reddit takes its... Speak of Reddit as an entity is a bit wrong, but there are a lot of people on Reddit who take Reddit very seriously.
Doesn't mean you have to be a dick.
And that's where like a lot of the the dickishness comes from. But it can also be fun. Like subreddit drama is one of the few subs I tolerate.
Oh, that shit is all removed. That shit can live with the Donald. Anyway, The Witness.
Yes.
Yeah. So story-wise, lacking any actual semblance of a story in it. There's a little bit if you go into like the secret endings.
Yeah.
But still nothing that explains what the island is.
Yeah.
I still find that disappointing. I wanted this to be a spiritual successor to Myst franchise. And the puzzles were just a bunch of puzzles on an island.
See,
it was meaningless on it overall.
After me just getting kind of shitty at the Braid storytelling, I would have preferred to have no storytelling.
What do you mean the braids?
Because Braid is it's like watching a David Lynch film when it comes to... it's actually one of like the inspirations for that kind of story.
Well, see, I didn't engage with Braid storytelling at all because it was just a bunch of...
It was a bunch of wank.
Well, no, it was a bunch of notes to read. Yeah. I was like, nope, not engaging. But its actual narrative in the game is great.
If you ignore all the bullshit, then that final level in Braid was really good.
Yeah,
that was really good. But then there was all the stuff surrounding it, which just kind of shit me.
Which was in no way needed. Like, I'm not saying it was good. I'm just saying that you didn't even need to engage in it.
But it's the reason why Witness I didn't really care was on the story because my assumption was if there would be a story, it'd be a similar thing to Braid. I just prefer it to not be there.
Yeah, I like it being there, it just not necessarily need to be engaged with. I mean, I went back and read Braid stuff, it seemed fine. It never offended me the way it offended you.
Maybe like a Dark Souls style, like world storytelling thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no real narrative to Dark Souls, but there's a story there.
Yes, and that's what I thought would be there in The Witness. I thought, like, all these statues and stuff like that would be in some way hinting towards something, but not really.
Yeah.
That said, still an amazing game, which I think will go down in gaming history as a very important title. I'm going to put out a nomination for what I think is the most impactful game of the year.
Yep.
It's a very good game. I wouldn't say great, but still really good. SUPERHOT. I think SUPERHOT's aesthetic and gameplay are going to be referenced and used in other games.
This has already been happening.
Yeah, for a long time. I mean, even before SUPERHOT came out, we got a bunch of SUPERHOT parodies. We've had Super Quad, we've had Super Truck, we've had, like all sorts of stuff. That is... If anything looks a little bit like that or does anything, I feel that's just going to be one of those titles that lives in infamy.
It'll be SUPERHOT-like.
Yeah, it'll be a SUPERHOT-like.
We got it a little bit with Hotline Miami. Yeah. It had a little bit of an effect like that as well. Yeah. So I feel like this one, there can be a bit more creative. We got SUPERHOT.
We got Super Hotline Miami as well, yeah.
But yeah, I see what you're saying in terms of like that mechanic had sort of like wriggled its way out into a bunch of different things.
Yeah, it gets out a bit, and then that just... I mean, polygonal looks were in, but this was so harsh in its contrast and the way the lighting worked and everything that it's like... It actually is a very fresh look for a video game. And now we've got SuperHot VR as well, which is an entirely different game.
Have either of you tried SuperHot VR?
No, but I did play original SuperHot in VR back like 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It worked the same experience?
No, the game's entirely different now.
I've only had a second hand.
SuperHot VR is whole new levels, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in a different game entirely. Yeah. It's shorter than the original game, but apparently it's very... The main gist of it is that you start in a position, you don't move around, and then once you defeat all the enemies, you can move on to the next position. So it's not a free teleport; it's like fixed position teleporting. But it still works. Like you could throw a gun to yourself, teleport, and then catch it on the other side. So that stuff's cool. Yeah. When originally I played it in VR, you still moved around with a controller, and then you could move gently around the area. But
now it's using the kind of Oculus Touch to kind of.
But you don't move.
Yeah.
So, other than that, pretty cool. So, I think SuperHot is going to go down for me. And for that, I actually didn't put it on the potentials game of the 16s, but I think it actually deserves to be up there because it's just going to be iconic of this year. Even if there may be some games that are overall offering... Because that's the biggest problem with SuperHot is that it has a limited offering. It's about a 2-hour long game. And there's, other than just challenge levels, there's nothing else really to keep you coming back. But I don't necessarily put that much weight on things having to bring you back.
I think in the day and age of a million squillion games to play, I don't mind so much. I know for a lot of people that having battle activity is really important.
Just yesterday, I was telling a friend that they had to pick up Doom because they hadn't played it yet, and they said, but I mean, it's just single player. It's a fucking great single player.
But I think part of that is weird. Like as a child, like when I had a Super Nintendo, my first console. I think I had 3 games on it. But that lasted me. That was good. I would go back and bang my head against the levels I couldn't finish and replay stuff, and I went hard at that SNES. So now in a game where you say there's so many games to play, I'm still looking at those value propositions.
But I think it's also worth remembering that for the bulk of the gaming audience, they do only buy 2-3 things a year. Yeah. And so, like, we'll talk about, like, I'll play a game 15 minutes or 2 hours or something. I'm generally good.
Yeah.
I put a list together of every game we've played this year and talked about on the show. And not just played and talked about on the show. There's about 230 games.
Sounds about right.
My personal list was about 200 long. That's not every game I've played. That's just the games I've spoken about on the show.
Yeah. I mean, I'd guess on average I play at least 2 or 3 new games a week.
Remember when I did, 150, 200 Game Jam games one week?
Oh, yeah. I think you got a bit funny after that.
Yeah, I felt a bit weird after trying to do quite that much. But but that said, whilst people might not buy that many games, it still doesn't mean they play them that much. The amount of people I speak to that, they are married, have kids, all that. I bought Doom and it took me 6 months to finish. Of course. There are different value propositions and lifestyles there. Anyway, let's just keep talking about the year.
Can I go on and say, the most impactful game for me in terms of creating impact was Firewatch?
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it earlier today, without qualification. Best narrative in a video game I've ever played.
I would say it's a good narrative. I enjoyed the way it's told.
I liked the ending, and that is the difference between me and a lot of people, I think. And I think that makes it the best story in a game.
The only problem I have with the ending is that part of it felt designed because of budgetary reasons.
Can we do spoilers for a game that's 10 months old? Because
I still don't want to talk about it exactly.
No, because some people are going to be looking for stuff to get.
Yeah, so there's a certain understanding of the animation budget in Firewatch, where you know that, although, that also just lends it maybe they saved all the animation budget to do a single thing. And there are a few moments where there are some bits, but on the whole it's a static world where all the delivery is through just dialogue on the radio. Yeah. So whilst a very effective game, and I really, really like Firewatch.
Even qualifying it as a game, you have to sort of put it in
game is such a broad thing. It's you get back to the whole death of gamers thing that was a while ago, and it was never gaming's over. It's the idea using the term game and gamers is so goddamn broad, it's meaningless. Yeah. Firewatch is interactive fiction. Yeah. Is interactive fiction a game? Yep. I've got a couple of them.
It's actually one of the oldest genres there are.
Yeah. It's basically adventure games. You think adventure games were ever really good because we were putting the rubber chicken on the... No, that was just gating us for more story.
At the point at which failure states exited adventure games, is that when they just became walking simulators? I guess there were still puzzles.
There's still puzzles. But a walking simulator can still have a puzzle in it. And in fact, what I like... And even though even just before the show we were talking about Gone Home, even though I don't like Gone Home, part of its puzzle is actually working out what the entire narrative is. And that's the kind of puzzle I quite like in adventure games.
Well, I think a lot of the puzzle for me in Firewatch is it's in my head, trying to figure it out. So, while there isn't, there's not, a point in which I, put the rubber chicken with the pulley in the middle on the wire, and I get through it. But I'm very engaged going through it, like reading a mystery novel, I guess.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Going through it, trying to figure out what it is. And I don't think the only thing that's different between that and a traditional adventure game is one has, a mechanical payoff. Yeah. But I'm still doing similar things.
But Firewatch
I'm still trying to nut it out.
An infinitely more varied story if you consider the character direction and character arcs you can go along.
What I enjoy in Firewatch is meeting people that dislike Firewatch. And a lot of them dislike it because they feel they were forced to do something. And whilst that's true to a degree, because you're not playing you're playing Henry. And all the possibilities of Henry, they still don't understand how broad their options are in that game.
Yeah.
They're they make me talk about it. It's actually, you just don't even have to push a button.
You can not engage the whole time, right?
Yeah.
If you want to.
Almost. There are a few times you have to respond when they're being asked a direct question about what's going on. But you can just not ever talk to Delilah and basically have a silent game.
Apparently, I haven't played it through this way, but if you play it without revealing anything about Henry, assuming you're Henry, if you play it without revealing anything about yourself, Delilah will start to really open up, and you get this whole new game which is about finding out about Delilah instead of a game that was about exploring the relationship between these two sort of sad, sort of lonely, sort of broken people.
And that's where this is sometimes where I'm very different. I hate the game where you can be anything. To me, it always just makes there's no personality to everything.
Yeah,
But
I'm exactly the same
Games
way.
that let you explore the possibilities of what this person could be, that's much more interesting writing-wise for me. So I think Firewatch is really a very strong example of that. And a lot of people have taken note after its success. So
Firewatch for me was like the first walking simulator I played that I felt was like making the most of the genre. Like all the ones before that, like going back even to everyone's going to Rapture and which are very well received.
some people very well.
Yeah,
received.
not so much Rapture.
Well, and what's Dear Ether?
Dear Esther,
Dear Esther.
And so they've been around for a while, but this is the one where it's like, okay, this genre has been iterated on. The pacing's right, the mechanics are right, it's got the right amount of interactivity.
But people learn now that they've seen it done decently to never pay attention to the Chinese Room again.
I haven't played Chinese Room.
The Chinese Room is people that made Dear Esther, Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, and
that's
Amnesia and Machine for Peace.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're the worst.
Yeah. Maybe.
Every one of their games is terrible.
I don't think I've played any of them.
We just talked about Everyone Goes to the Rapture.
Oh,
you definitely
sorry.
played it with me.
I think also Firewatch, like
I think
where
Dear
the input and the lack of player whatever player decisions. There's a word I'm thinking of. That's not right there.
Agency?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nailed it. I love the art style. Like even though Paul mentioned like it had graphic limitations.
Oh, like the shaders and the all the weather effects and everything is beautiful.
I saw some good tech videos on how they did the fog.
What Camo Santo did was they said, this is our budget, how do we use it most effectively? Now, they could have made the game look like Minecraft and had characters and animals running around everywhere, but they're like, no, we want to have a clean but very attractive aesthetic, and to do that, what can we sacrifice and how does it affect the story? I mean, that's what game design really needs to be. It has to be written along with the technology, so you don't end up with a situation where you're trying to do something you're not capable of doing. And that's where they did that perfectly with that game.
And I think like
just like in No Man's Sky.
I think like as a game design as a whole, it did like a lot of things well. Like it really just leaned on its strengths. Like it knew what it was doing, and the voice acting in that game is superb.
It's very good.
Anything you say about it is superfluous at this point. But the game itself, everything you do is built around the fact that you can decide how these characters interact and how their stories as people is going to unfold. And I think that's reflected in what you were saying about how they just looked at the graphics and were like, what's the best we can do with this? The same way they looked at that central mechanic and was just like, well, what's the best game we can craft around this? And I think they did a really good job.
And that's maturity of game design. Sometimes it's good to be immature and just try everything and you end up with some beautiful mess.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, let's actually try to do things responsibly. Now, in the Game of the 16 list we have here, somebody added Pokemon Moon and Sun.
Actually,
I'm gonna cross that right out.
Oh, you put an underline under it.
Yeah, I was really bad. Yeah, let me go through. It's through the list. No, it's still not very good. Oh no, my eyesight's going. Not because it's not because it's bad in any way. I mean, it seems incredibly solid, but it's also in no way will this game sort of live on as anything iconic of this year. It may live on as a very good Pokemon game.
It's the best generation of an incredibly iconic franchise.
Yeah.
As a game, I agree.
Yeah, it's like, it's a real good one.
It's an incredible game.
People are saying, remember the year 2016, all those incredible games, they had another Pokemon. That's a good one, but yeah. Okay, so we can't go into every game with it anyway, so let's just go look at some things that haven't gone around.
Just a couple of weeks ago.
Go on.
No, sorry? You can jump into anything.
I was going to say, can we jump into the bro shooters?
Okay, see... Yeah, we definitely will be talking bro shooters, so let's talk it now.
Because I've decided... I've been trying to think who's the winner of the bro shooter 2016.
It's very hard, because Battlefield 1 started showing, and it was like, hey, this is really good Battlefield. Then the single player comes out, and we're all surprised. Yeah. And we go, this vignette idea is great, it plays very well, Battlefield's won it. And then Titanfall 2 comes out, and comes out with a Half-Life 2S campaign, and we're like, where the fuck did this come from? Titanfall 2, it's won it.
Can I get a little controversial?
Yeah.
You know what the best pro shooter of the year was?
What?
Doom.
That's not a bro
Oh,
shooter.
it's a bro
Yeah,
shooter.
it's a bro shooter.
It's not a bro shooter.
Oh, no.
I argue that it's a
You're
bro
right.
shooter.
You're right. Multiplayer is a bro shooter.
Yeah, which is the part no one likes.
Yeah, no one will get into that. Single player is not bro shooter.
It's a bro shooter.
No. It's a testosterone nutsack shooter.
It's a bro shooter. It is an incredibly made bro shooter with everything turned up to 11.
it's a
the
90s
enjoyment is turned up to
No,
11.
no,
no,
The
shooter.
ridiculous is turned up to 11.
Bros need all the bros are all the modern aesthetic trappings, the military running with you and having commanders getting their orders, and you being fixed to watch like a big spectacle air thing going over the top of you. And that's what makes a bro shooter.
If you're a single guy in a giant robot and that counts as a bro shooter, then so does it.
No, well, that's not Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, you got guys with you all the time. You got, no, not all the time, but a bunch of the time you get other guys with you.
I genuinely don't remember
You
that.
there's a Normandy landing sequence in Titanfall 2.
Oh, right.
There's lots of stuff like that. There's always people chatting to you and doing stuff, and the bromanship. Like,
So the
like
collectible-
Broforce is a bro.
So the collectible
platformer.
bobbleheads don't count as bros?
No, I'm sorry, they don't.
I carry them with me. Is Mick Gordon not a bro?
No,
Because he's with me through that whole game.
He's a friendly fellow, that Mick Jordan.
And we also had COD.
And COD.
Apparently an incredible...
Which also had a
Single
good
player.
single-player
Yeah.
campaign.
That might be a bit like Pokemon Sun and Moon territory, where it's just like... and we also had Call of Duty.
Yeah, like it definitely... It still felt like a COD campaign. So, yeah. I can say that of the bro shooters, COD was definitely not the winner, because I had the choice... I had to install... I wanted to install a new game on PS4 and had to delete something.
Yeah.
COD lost out.
Ooh.
That was like
no.
up against the wall. I don't know if I actually can give it to one. I'm gonna go Titanfall 2. Like it's become kind of my go-to bro shooter at the moment.
Titanfall 2 is very good.
Yeah.
Oh, you finished it?
Yeah, not just for the single player campaign. Single player.
Oh, you're still playing the multi?
Yeah, but like, I still jump into the multiplayer. Like it still has that fluidity that I love from Titanfall 1.
The movement.
Yeah, but also the changing of what you're doing.
Okay.
Like, going from it's about a ground fight to it's about parkour to it's about being a Titan to it's about being on a Titan.
Yeah.
And that whole thing is just completely seamless. Like, not many games pull that off. So yeah, it's sort of become my go-to bro shooter now. And they have managed to keep the community. Like,
That's really good.
Yeah.
I haven't touched Titanfall because I assumed the community
no,
would
still
be
there.
dead.
If I load it up, there'll be 200-300 people playing, like on the Australian servers.
Yeah.
And that's plenty.
Oh, shit, that's really good.
You know?
Okay, so best bro shooter of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
Titanfall 2, definitely.
Yeah, I give it to it. I didn't play COD. I hated the Battlefield 1 beta so much.
It's such a good game.
It's
so good.
Actually, you know Donkey, the YouTube personality?
I do not.
He's very fine, but he did a great video on Battlefield 1 about how you're just like, alright, this time I'm going to get into cover and then, I'm dead again.
But it's not about dying. That's what was cool. They took away the death counter. You don't play for tickets. It's
Yeah,
about-
but it's still an obstacle between me and playing the game.
you got to be in the mood for it. Like, it's a very different kind of
Yeah.
shooter. It's a Battlefield shooter. So, yeah, like, you're not going to jump in and be in the action straight away. You might spawn to the side of the map. And have
I
to
feel
fight.
like I don't have the internal bro rage.
You spawn on a squad. Never just spawn free. Jeez.
Sometimes I might spawn free.
Yeah.
Spawn free.
I don't have the bro rage inside of me to have that constant stream of death fuel me. That like maybe when I was a younger man I would. I'd like die 6 times in a row. I'm like, this time I'm gonna get you, and then like I'll like hit him in the leg, and that'll be the chip damage it takes to kill an enemy. I'm like, yeah, fucking got you, take it, and I'll teabag him and get run over by a tank.
World War One.
Okay.
Respectful.
So we've got a best bro shooter. Now that can go into the wider shooter nomination.
Yeah.
So best Doom done.
Oh, no, it's easy. Doom.
Doom.
Yeah.
Doom.
Best
Doom.
shooter.
Doom is
what's
very
the category?
very strong contender for Game of the Year.
Yep.
Doom is unbelievably. They solved Doom. They reinvigorated Doom. They solved action first-person shooters in a way that it's like I don't want every shooter to be like Doom, but it's just this aggressive. They had a name for it that when they talk about it, that it's making the player push forward. It's not letting them rest. It's just making them being aggressive the entire time, and that's how the gameplay is being designed. And there's plenty of games, first-person shooters that you play aggressively, but none of them encourage quite that.
Yeah.
It's like
I can think of stuff like Bloodborne did it, or Space Marine did it.
Oh yeah, actually,
Probably Space Marine's probably the closest thing.
where they want you to end up getting close. It's like when you get attacked, your response is not to hide, take cover, move around them. It is to hit them in the face.
Yes.
And that is how you recover from injury. And it ran so smoothly. It looked great. It had a great sense of humor. The levels just kept surprising me the whole time. I would be thrown into a battle that I thought would be impossible, and I just had the biggest grin on my face as I'd chainsaw things in half and launch myself through the air. And this is the perfect balance between Doom and Quake. Because Doom never really had that verticality, but this has certainly brought it in that Quake had a lot more of that. I'm just this is fucking amazing.
It's great, but then the multiplayer.
Yeah, but that's not it. I don't even count that as part of the game. Yeah. It's that is just an unfortunate thing that was included in the package. If someone had done a little shit in the box, I wouldn't...
You take the shit out.
I just put the shit somewhere else. I mean, I've got a puppy. I deal with shit a lot. So, actually, he's not bad. He mainly shits outside.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Doom's amazing.
It is. It was... To channel so perfectly what was Doom in the 90s, but to make it modern was an accomplishment. And also sneaking it through that a AAA game got that kind of funding and freedom to do it. And I would say that's probably because of the multiplayer, because that's where they're putting all the effort on. Well, this is going to be the big thing. It's going to be multiplayer.
You look at the weird response from Bethesda for the whole thing. They put out the multiplayer beta, had terrible reaction. Yeah. They suddenly were not letting review copies out. Well, we're narrowing down. And now they pretend that was a deliberate strategy because, look at how well Doom did. We're not going to let reviews out for anything. Yeah. You had no fucking faith in it.
That's what's the problem.
It's you, Bethesda. Now, I obviously jumped on that because I also want to step on some other first-person shooters this year.
Yep.
Partly Shadow Warrior 2.
Yes.
Which was a very good game.
Very fun.
I think... Actually, no, I'm going to take away the very...
It's a good game.
I'm going to leave it as a good game. I think it somehow just didn't land its potential.
I think that the fault for me was that it was a game about... It was a good shooter, which is a loot-based shooter with a shitty loot system.
Oh, I love the loot system.
Yeah, but you're not a loot guy.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was a loot system for people that want useful loot.
Unfortunately, though, for the kind of thing they're going for and the kind of audience they're going after, they want a loot system that they like. And the loot system is not...
I wouldn't say it would be universally disliked. I'd say
no, but I think
it still was very clever.
If you want a game that's about collecting loot, it's not a good loot system. If you want a game that's about customizing shit, then yes, it's fine. It's like you're really good at that. But for me, I looked at that and it's a loot shooter. Because they're giving out shit like loot. They should just haven't done away with that. Just go just have some unlocks. Go loadout. Go here, just unlock all your shit and customize what you want. Don't give me here's a green, here's a blue, here's a purple. And try to sell it like a loot shooter.
But when I actually felt like...
Why? Sorry.
I felt like the incredible variety of the loot and the sheer abundance of new loot. Every time you shot a rabbit, you'd get a new artifact. You're is this better? Is this worse?
See, I think that was the only thing where I thought it was telling when you guys were playing it versus me playing it, that you'd go, some gems would appear, and everyone would grab their gems, and then you guys would stop.
We've got to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? There is, even if you want to do it during a level, you're allowed to teleport out of the level at any time to go to the home base. It's that's where you sort your shit out. But because you guys are very trained in there's a sword on the ground. Oh, what are the stats compared to my current stats? That's what you do automatically. And that's not a fault. That's not I'm not saying you're doing it bad there. I'm just saying that the game was, it was treating loot differently. It was collect a bunch of shit and then... Afterwards, you look at the spoils of war and you say, okay, from my spoils of war, what's worthwhile and what could I possibly do with it?
I was going to say that the abundance of it, because in a game like that, I go into that game thinking half the game is making my own character as strong as possible, getting the best loot. And because of the amount of loot, it all felt up in the air and it that sense of groundedness of I'm a guy who plays games and I like the feeling of completion and reward. So I'd go onto a new mission and I'd see the reward items. I'm I'll do that and that'll be great. But then will it be great? Will I replace the weird claws I have with the right artifact? And instead of going okay, I'll go on this mission and then I'll get that shotgun that's going to really open this game up. It was a bit I don't know what's happening. Would I even use that? Would it be in my arsenal? Would I just keep using my Magnum for everything?
I think one of the big losses from the original loot system is that when you're constantly cycling out gear, I'm constantly going to be trying new things.
Yep.
But I felt with that game, I was swapping out gems. And there were still some gems which would be locked to certain weapons.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
and gems that would change how weapons would work.
Yeah, so I'd still go, all right, I'm going to use this weapon now, this weapon now, this weapon now. But it was just like more work because of the crafting thing. And I just, for a game which is about throwing lots of shit at me, and me going in and out, like trying new shit, like, to me, it's more exciting to get the RNG has crafted this random weapon has like this cool combination of shit. And I do that for a while, but then I get something else that's more powerful, so that gets thrown out. And I'll use this for a while, rather than kind of going back and trying to craft the solution. And I know that's just what they're going for.
Yeah.
Like, but I would say for the typical person who likes a loot shooter,
For someone that likes a terrible game like Borderlands.
the kind of person who likes a game like Borderlands.
No, terrible game like Borderlands.
I love Borderlands. It's a great game.
Loot's so boring.
No, the loot is simplified and it makes the combat easier.
But, I mean, kudos for trying. Like, or doing it. Like, yeah.
See, and that's where I think it... Like, when I'm saying... Before, when I said it's a good game, not necessarily great, I think it just doesn't have quite enough follow through. The levels sometimes feel a little bit aimless. They started adding more stuff. I think there's like a daily challenge and stuff like that in there. So if you're in it, there's a lot of content in the game. But yeah, it takes the idea of the loot thing and plays with it a different way. So it isn't just Borderlands with swords.
Yeah.
If they could have made that loot stuff and added more quality of life stuff, like if I saw a gem and they were like, this is the same type of gem you're already using, but it's a direct upgrade. Like, I could automatically switch that out if it gave me more information without me having to search for it. It would have made things so
because
much
there are
faster.
so many options of doing things. It took me about 2 hours to get the hang of it.
Yeah.
After then, it was really fast.
I like the Path of Exile method, where they kind of have a hybrid. So it's like, all right, here's a weapon it's been randomly rolled. There's some stuff on it, but then there's a gem configuration system as well. So like you kind of pick and choose. You go, well, all right, I've got this weapon I like this, but I'm going to make it do these things as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of a nice. I think that for the bit that I think kind of ruined it a bit for me was that the weapon archetypes were unlocked.
Maybe what they need
and
to
I
do.
prefer it to be I pick up a certain kind of weapon at a certain level.
I'm still not sure if that's actually true. I'm still not sure if you can't get two of the same gun with different stats.
I thought you just unlocked it, and it just becomes like a template.
I'm not sure if that's true or not. I never got a second one, but then I only put in like 10 hours or so when I was still getting new things. So I was like, oh, what's going on? I actually, you know what I think might solve it? Don't give you the traditional like 9 weapon FPS thing. Because when you've got to customize 9 weapons and you load out at once, that's a lot of work.
Yeah. So like what Loadout did. Yeah. Where it's like, here's 2, I think you had 2 slots, and it's like, go equip your loadout.
Yeah. I just hate the monetization.
The free-to-play part of loadout kind of sucked.
Anyway, okay. Which then, look, let's just keep going through at the moment so let's finish up our first persons. Well, okay, we're not going to talk about Dishonored 2, because none of us have actually played it. I understand it's very good. Yeah. The other one being, of course, Overwatch.
Yeah.
Which I would not say is a stronger, solid shooting mechanics as something like Doom, which specializes in it. But is certainly probably the most popular game of the year.
Almost definitely the most impactful. In terms of like a new IP.
But in what sense of impact, gameplay design-wise, I'm not too sure. Because the biggest thing it does, I saw someone else talking about this, is like the play of the match stuff, where it tries to teach an AI to objectively pick what was the best thing that happened in a match. Which is obviously supposed to always be me, and it's wrong pretty much all the time.
Actually, I don't think Play the Match works that well.
No, it doesn't work. Yeah. But that's like a new thing. Yeah. Like that's a thing that they're attempting to do. The rest is TF2 mixed with a MOBA, as in MOBA character designs.
There are very little MOBA elements in Overwatch, though.
Except the entire character design.
Character design is similar, but
literally most of the characters are lifted from MOBA archetypes.
So much of the MOBA idea is pick a character from the start, go through the game, leveling up, see how strong you can make a character. Whereas this one, but
that's not the character
game.
No, I just mean character designs. Character designs and ability designs. They're directly lifted from MOBAs.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But
the entire idea of cooldowns on abilities. I mean, you put that in normally in a first-person shooter, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I can only jump every 4 seconds.
I really like that. Whenever I play a new class, there's always subtleties to it that I don't realize at first. Like each of those classes is very well designed. I don't feel like it suffers from the MOBA problem of where he's 100 characters and 7 of them are viable. It's like I feel like they're putting a good amount of effort into
everyone's viable in those
There's a certain degree of community pressure where they're like, why are you playing Symmetra right now?
Change of Genji.
Symmetra, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there is a little bit of that, but not to the extent of like Dota 2 or something like that.
No, like I've been playing a lot of the random hero mode.
Yeah.
And like every character can like really make an impact.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it took out a bunch of Game of the Year awards, rightfully so.
Yeah.
It's a good game. It's well
So-
made. It's
Being that you just said it's a good game, we'll cross it off the list. If I was going to go first-person shooter, Doom versus Overwatch, that's a difficult matchup for me.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I'd go Overwatch, to be honest.
Well,
like, I mean, that's not a shit on Doom.
But you're also 300 plus hours
I'm
into
the Overwatch
Overwatch.
guy, but like that's because I enjoyed Overwatch.
see,
to that
but
extent.
I think it's Overwatch. I look at it and go, "This is new TF2." Like, I don't feel like it's a really good TF2. It's Blizzard TF2.
Actually, if you limit it or distill it down to just being a first-person shooter, I think Doom is better.
Oh, I mean, like the shooting mechanics.
First-person shooting elements of Overwatch, I think makes it a more complete game.
Although I do hate any game with loot boxes. Ooh.
But you can ignore the loot boxes pretty safely.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't. They keep putting them in front of my face.
I like getting them, but I've never bought one.
Oh, I never buy one.
Yeah.
What am I, insane?
Jeremy.
Yeah, I've bought a couple. I still go through the idea that I'd pay $15 for a t-shirt. That fewer people will see than me with the skins that I want in Overwatch.
That's true.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, well, you don't agree with paying $15 for a t-shirt.
No, I pay $15. I spend more than that for a good t-shirt, especially if I'm at a concert. $70 for a t-shirt that'll dissolve in the wash. Thank you, sir.
I like the business model in Overwatch. I like this idea of they're giving a lot of content for free, like after you buy it.
Yeah.
And that's largely supported by the people who are still buying it or buying loot boxes.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
It was
also
a
supported
full
by
price TF2.
Sorry?
It was a full price TF2, a game that
It wasn't
over a
full
decade
price.
on.
It wasn't full price. Like, it wasn't a AAA.
It was
release.
so hard to buy that game at the original price of most things.
60 Australian? was
60
it?
Australian. But I mean, I paid
Yeah,
90.
that's all I pay for most AAA games in
I
Australia.
paid 90 for Titanfall 2.
What? How?
Because that's the price it was on the Origin store. Well, where did you get Titanfall?
I think I bought it for at 68.
Yeah, I
Something
think I
like
bought it for 50
that.
something, maybe $60.
I think
Yeah.
it's still worth 90. It's a good
Oh,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, how'd you do that?
But I'm just saying, it wasn't a full price release.
Yes.
Depends what your full price is. Because you can't get discount Blizzard codes. It's just...
No.
Unless
I
Blizzard
think,
puts it on sale.
I think that there is like a...
Which is when I bought it.
Yeah, you know when you bought it. So apparently you didn't.
if
So
you're-
it wasn't a full
if
price
you're a
tier
crafty
50.
consumer like Paul,
Yeah.
then you won't get it full price. But
You know the craftiest consumer thing?
What?
Become a journalist and then ask them to give it to you.
But you're right, Jeremy, in that like there is like a standard. Here is the price.
Yeah.
And it was under that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But it
Thank you,
wasn't
James.
as cheap as TF2.
Well, TF2 is free now.
Well, it's free
Yeah.
now.
I think when it came out, it was like $20.
Yeah, it was something.
it was
Well, it was
also
originally part of the orange box,
Yeah,
and then it
yeah.
was like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but I mean
Yeah.
that's a game that's had support for 10 plus years.
Yes. But then they added loot boxes and they...
Yeah, but
Yes.
but they have loot boxes.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
They started with loot
Yeah.
boxes.
But
They
I-
started with hats as a major economy.
I feel like that Overwatch has done a good job at supporting it post-release. We've had a lot of
Yeah.
really good events. We've had some new game modes. What, 2 new characters now? 2 or 3? 2.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's
More
been-
than none,
Yeah.
less than a million.
Yeah, it's this whole concept of you buy a game and then you
And
get
you
shit.
have the game? Yeah, it's
I mean,
mind-blowing.
Titanfall 2 has gone down that path as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're actually moving away from DLC being things that are important to the game cut out of it.
Yeah.
And whichever way that's actually structured into it. DLC seems to be heading more towards the expansion route, which I am 100%
Okay
fine
with,
with.
yeah, we're going back
It's
to
like,
that
oh,
circle.
would you like another little mini story? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Would you like a story that's actually integral to the plot that we've just cut out of the main story, but you really won't get the main story unless you buy it for $15 more? No, thank you.
I'll tell you, I will buy it for Metal Gear Solid 5 if they did it.
Would you pay any money for anything in Metal Gear Solid 5
No,
that comes out now?
If it was like, here's the final chapter,
Made by...
Hideo Kojima,
not made by Hideo
made-
Kojima.
No.
Made by a pachinko
here's the Pachinko DLC.
producer.
Here's
Yeah.
the Peggle expansion for Metal Gear Solid 5.
It was all a dream.
It's a picture of Hideo Kojima just waking up. Oh, It was all a Hideo Kojima
It would
dream.
be Hideo Kojima. It'd be and this be the president of Konami going. It was all me all along. Oh, but the actual president or CEO, I'm not sure what the company structure is. He's now the head of the new company, Kojima's new company,
Kojima Productions or whatever it's called.
Yeah. So apparently they were actually on good terms.
Oh, okay.
But he left before all the shit happened with Kojima.
Yeah,
so it was the new guard that hated Kojima. Yeah. So anyway, best first-person shooter then.
God.
Wait, do we have a list?
Do I have my love
if there's anything we're missing
awesome
on here.
We have a list here. It's 8 pages long.
Okay,
No, but just specifically...
just use your memory. I've listed down anything of note.
I'm going to have to go... For me, can I vote Titanfall 2 again?
Yeah, you can.
Because when I think of Doom, great single player, kind of shitty multiplayer. When I think Overwatch, no
Great
single player, great multiplayer. But when I think Titanfall 2, they nailed both.
Oh, okay.
So that's why...
Controversial.
And your vote's for Overwatch because you're a giant bitch.
Because I happen to be in touch with the youth of today.
Yeah, you're always touching them, you.
I was trying to think who you could cosplay as.
Yeah, no one from Overwatch. Like maybe Tracer now.
Yeah, I think you tried Tracer.
Yeah, Tracer I think was the closest one.
Yeah, you got the right physique for Tracer.
Yeah.
Why not the menu?
The menu. Cosplay's the menu.
I'm arcade mode. 2 vs 2. That's very good. I've got the sound off, so I assume that's what it sounds like.
Who are you going for?
The Division.
The Division.
I mean, you know it's third person, but it's so good. Okay, we don't want to.
Was that even this year?
We really need to start. No, it launched last year, I think. Okay. Pretty sure it launched like December last year. Okay, we're going to have to start speeding this up because we're taking a very long time with things. Platformers, didn't really divide anything by those sort of lines.
No, there are only 2 nominees anyway.
So Chibi Robo Ziplash, Headlander.
Okay, no, Rabby.
Never heard of Rabby Ribby. What is that?
It's a cute little 8-bit style platform.
You're selling it for me.
I haven't played it so much, but very well reviewed. Came out this year.
See, the thing is, I was joking around with the first-person shooter thing, but see, those games I wouldn't even put in the same genre. Like, Inside is not a platformer. Inside is just it's a walking simulator. Inside is a straight-up atmospheric narrative experience.
Because I finally finished Inside.
The greatest polish of any game this year by far. I had a when I was trying to make categories, I had one which was called Finest Craftsmanship. And I put Doom there and Inside there, but Doom was just a joke. It really was a one-game category.
Yeah.
Because I have never experienced any game anywhere near the polish of Inside. It is unbelievably polished.
To the point where I thought it was too easy. Which is where it lends itself to.
See, I'm going to add something. I'm going to bring it up now.
You can do it.
As far as craftsmanship going, I have been playing Uncharted 4.
Oh, it's true. It's true.
I have to say that game has been amazing me. I play it and I stop to just look at it's AAA.
If I'm at the top of a tower, I'm taking a minute to look at the scene.
Well, looking at Nathan Drake's house. I spent so long.
I think we might have put it on the show when it first came out. Some footage of someone that there was a steepish hill in front of them with gravel on it, and they're shooting in the gravel, and then some of it starts rolling, and it makes a little cascade and gets more gravel and picks it up, and it's like the physics on your gravel are unbelievable.
Yeah. There was I was playing it this morning, and I just grabbed onto a beam that I was going in, and as I was moving across, there was just a slight little bend, tiny bend, tiny little bend. But that game is full of so many touches to make it feel like a physical place.
I think that's where
it's amazing.
You just think the way that they iterate on their systems each time.
They're
just
one of my favorite things, and I don't know.
He sounds excited.
No, because this was of the climbing.
Open your mouth, boys.
No, when you're climbing, I don't know what Uncharted this came in. It might have been this in 4. Yeah. That when you put your arm out, if you can reach it, you just climb to it. So, because last time I played it, I remember it was you push a direction, you see the animation prime, and you hit a button. And he jumps. When now, if you put your arm out and you can reach that ledge, he will just pull himself up to it.
Yeah.
And the climbing experience goes from this being kind of discrete kind of chunks of jump to jump to jump to jump to jump to this like flow of no, I'm climbing. Like why? If I can reach it, why would I do it? And honestly, I can't remember if Uncharted 1 was like. I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
No, I'm pretty sure
it's a newer thing.
I don't know about 3 because I sort of skipped 3.
Maybe it came in a bit earlier, but like this is the climbing and also like the accessibility that's gone into it. Where like if you want to like it's not the most accessible game I've played. Like if you want to just like get rid of your tapping because you for whatever reason you lack the motor skills to tap, there's just an option to go hold.
Well,
to...
yeah,
really?
Yeah,
that was.
I've got to get into that because I hate tapping.
Well, that was put in for disability.
Yeah,
because someone specifically wrote to them and said, "Look, I love Uncharted, but I can do all the shooting, but I can't fucking open shit that I have to tap for." But then so many people just went, "You know what? I just hate tapping. I'll do
it's
it
such
too."
a dumb mechanic.
Yeah.
but then like if you're like me and you can tap but can't shoot, you just turn on the
I had
lock,
to turn
the lock-on mechanic.
every aim assist off. Yeah, was shitting me.
Oh really? No, but so that's what I mean by craftsmanship. If I look at Uncharted as how good a video game is it? Like in terms of like of like where it is in the craft, it is amazing. The bar it sets is staggeringly high. And not just the single player, like I jumped into the multiplayer as well this morning, and that as well
There's still a community playing it?
It's still a community playing it, and it's still it was a really solid experience.
I still stand by. I actually really think the Uncharted 4 multiplayer is pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Also the level design, and that's always been Uncharted, but like it blew my mind. I was climbing a clock tower, and just how easy it was to get from place to place. Like I'd go onto the wrong platform, I'd skip the platform I'm meant to be, and there was no tedious. All right, going back, jump down here, making it hard.
It's very
all felt so smooth.
interesting contrasting to the climbing of like The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
Which, Uncharted, Naughty Dog brought in yellow.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, oh fuck, where do I go? Oh, yellow, here we go, off we go. Conversely, Last Guardian deliberately doesn't show you shit. And one of the complaints that a lot of people have with the game is I'm just staring at a wall for 15 minutes,
not realizing
working out how to do anything with it because it's like so it becomes accessibility. It makes the game very smooth to play and everything. You're like, does it in that case make that climbing's not a mechanic-driven game? You could argue that, but was that ever a fun game?
Like I'm not a rock climber.
No,
I would assume a rock climber would look at a wall and figure out the path. They're going to look at it and go, "Oh, this is the way I climb."
Yeah,
we say that's probably. I'm going to go on a wild limb and say that's how it works. But in a game, you lack the fidelity to really communicate that.
Yeah.
But it's why you need it. You need like an Uncharted. You need to be able to look at the space, and the space will have multiple ways to move through it. But it's like, all right, how am I going to move through it? And I can see the path and go, oh, okay, that's the way I'm going to go.
I mean, games do sort of shoehorn you into that. We have to climb along here, and then there's the pipe that falls, and you fall down here. When you fall to a place where you could never have got to before, and that's the only way you can then climb to the top. It's like, just wait, how did why was I climbing there just to fall down? But it just goes so smoothly, and that works with that.
Yeah.
Also, the character interaction in Uncharted, like, I feel like it feels so earnest.
Actually, to bring it back to, like you mentioned, like Firewatch is sort of, like, like in terms of the acting, the delivery in Uncharted 4 is just amazing. Like the amount of feels that I've had, like already from my like
no one knows got
8,
it down
9,
to an exact science.
Like it's like all those characters are very believable. The relationships are great. Cheryl's mum's been watching me play it, and she's been really enjoying it.
Yeah,
like she's been looking at the faces, going, "Do they take them off real actors? Like, no, they're not likenesses. They're just just animated. I'm sure they probably did some facial recognition stuff to do it, but like they look like people, and the way the writing and the voice acting, they talk like people.
Yeah,
but just with just enough of that kind of like Hollywood blockbusterness to it. It's great. I fucking love it. I'm really, really loving it.
Okay, we are really, really failing at speeding up.
We are.
So inside we're going to... there's not much more that needs to be said about inside.
Except, like,
inside.
Spoiler alert, they really Cronenberg the fuck out inside at the end, didn't they?
Yeah, Cronenberg-ish.
They're Cronenberged.
Cronenberged hard.
Yeah, inside it's definitely an amazing game.
Yep.
Okay, let's move to some stuff that's a little bit different. This one. So I had here. I'm just going through my categories, even though we're not giving them. I had best gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
So we already talked about SUPERHOT.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had one of my favorite games, ClusterTruck,
Yeah,
which was...
I would give it to ClusterTruck for this one, yeah.
Because ClusterTruck, the game where you jump across and... They're not endless,
Endless
but a
truck.
large number of
Yeah.
trucks that are randomly
Just a sea of
driving.
trucks.
It's one of those things that very skill based, but then tied with random elements because the trucks do not always follow the same path there. You know, so you can get in unwinnable situations, but just the fast iteration and
get
everything.
back and yeah.
I don't think it's going to have a lasting. Like, I don't think it's going to be something that people reference. But I think it's a very fun game.
I think
one
it's
of
a
the most
game
fun
that,
games
like,
of the
every
year.
time there's, like, a Steam sale and it's down to, like, $3, it'll be the game that everyone says you have to play ClusterTruck.
Yeah, it's certainly like hey, it's a couple bucks, get the fucking game.
Like, I feel like ClusterTruck is probably doing a similar kind of thing that Dangerous Golf was trying to do in terms of having like this one-trick pony mechanic.
Except not terrible.
Except it wasn't terrible and delivered quite well and explored the mechanic quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I put in here Last Guardian, and I actually wanted to.
It used terms of the AI, how you interact with the creature.
Yeah. So the idea of taking this creature through, because it's also wanted to contrast it to Abzu, which was one of my biggest disappointments of the year. A lot of people still like Abzu, and it perplexes me why. Because the game gives you, in my opinion, literally nothing to work with. There's no emotional pull in the game at all. Because it is exactly Journey, except it doesn't give you that friend. It tries to give it to you in the guise of this...
Is the whale or something?
It's a shark.
A shark?
But because it never really interacts with you and it has no personality, just a few scripted sequences that you see, I feel nothing for it. Whilst The Last Guardian, whilst mechanically very stiff, and sometimes a little bit boring and derivative and frustrating, the one thing it does do is give you the sort of relationship you could only have in Journey, which relied on you having a good internet connection, someone else being on at the same time, all these things having to line up for it to work perfectly. It gave it to you offline, and it gave you this AI that you could actually feel for and could actually... whether or not it really has any sort of... If you could argue it has any AI in it at all, I mean, it's just a bunch of sequences that get tied together.
I don't think it's sentient.
Yes, it's not sentient, but you know, it's sort of like you get the Nintendogs thing.
It'd fail the Turing test.
Oh, yeah, part of Turing's head. But it gives you that feel of playing with another thing.
Yeah.
I think what did I describe it as? Playing a co-op game, but your partner is Ben.
Well, to me, from what you described to me, it's like a cat.
Yeah,
And so it's
a cat dog.
and part of it is like herding a cat.
Yeah.
And that in itself is an incredibly frustrating experience. But, and I guess in terms of best gimmick, they could have gone for a thing which just felt like an extension of a mechanic. Like, I don't know, like the dog in COD's Ghosts, where there was a dog, and the dog was just sort of felt like, oh, you go here, you go here. It's an extension of you.
Yeah, it's a controllable function.
Yeah, or like dog meat, dead meat? Dog meat in Fallout 4, or 2, or 1, or 3, which is like, you go over there and do this. Where this thing could, it was either bad AI, it was rebelling. It sounded like you weren't sure which one it was. But having that little bit of room in there means it does become a bit more interesting than traditional extra mechanic to get stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I think that game really... And I think it is a very successful game.
Yeah.
As much as people shit on it, and I even shit on to a degree, I think it's an amazing game. It's been every year's an amazing year for games.
It keeps getting better.
Games just keep getting interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's the quantity of games we're getting.
Yeah.
We did forget one first-person shooter.
Which one?
Battleborn.
Don't worry, everyone did.
Hey, that's what I was going for. Okay.
While we're in gimmicks, I do want to Pokemon Go. I think that was definitely one of the bigger things of this year.
So the thing that still constantly surprises me about Pokemon Go is that people are amazed that the majority of people stop playing it. It's like,
I could have seen that.
It's like, haven't you ever been to the world?
Yeah.
We're not aware of our Swatch watches anymore.
It still gets played.
It's not like it's not like the audience has disappeared entirely. Yeah. It's that when you get a thing that explodes in sudden popularity, it generally then contracts.
What really amused me was the number of clients that started looking for geo-based games. Yeah, because I had one.
We're going to have to redesign cities.
We guys, look, I need this prototype made fast. We're going to ride this Pokemon. I was told. Going to ride this Pokemon Go wave. Need it fast. But as far as the gimmick goes, that the cultural impact that thing had was
Yeah.
pretty staggering.
Yeah,
And it's still going on. Like, it's still a thing.
If you
People
can still make a joke about it on a late night TV show, it is important cultural artifact.
I went to the Christmas fireworks in the city, and
yeah.
there were still a lot of lures.
Oh, really?
There was still a lot of people playing. People were attacking gyms. Like, it's still happening. Still going on.
You know what? I think it is in running for Game of the 16. Because
Yeah, in terms of
it is
popularity and impact.
it is a potentially a very important game this year.
Well,
whether or not it really holds up or whether it was ever a very
I
good game.
loaded it up to catch my Pikachu wearing a Santa hat.
Did you?
Yeah. I wanted one. And now
lost
it's
interest.
it's on the old
Yeah,
Apple
how does it
Watch.
go on the Apple Watch?
It goes well.
What does the Apple Watch do? Does the Apple Watch just track it and you still use your phone to catch things?
Yeah, so you still have to use it to catch, but it'll notify you when shit pops up.
Oh,
And
that's so
it'll
good.
let you collect from Pokestops without having to open the app.
Oh, that's
So you'll do is you'll look to see, there's these ones around, I don't care.
Yep.
But you might go, there's a Pikachu with a hat,
yeah.
so I want that one. So you load it up. And,
One of my favorite gaming moments of the year was like 2 days after Pokemon Go came out, and like I'd just be walking through the parks near me, like where I'd normally go for a run or walk anyway, and like everyone was just looking at their phones,
yeah.
and it just made me so happy because there was no way to do it subtly.
Yeah.
No one was just like with their phone in their pocket, like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You had to be. Right.
There was a certain period where just having your phone out meant you were playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
The amount of times I'd be checking messages, and goes like, "I'm playing Pokemon."
Yeah.
Well, no, but I'd fight if you really.
I love the experience of I was walking through the city,
yeah.
and if I saw because you see someone else playing it, and so if I saw there was a rare Pokemon down the road, I'd tell them.
Oh really?
Yeah, and they'd be,
such a
thanks,
good
and
dude.
they run off. But people do the same to me. Cheryl and I are out hunting Pokemon
Same thing
somewhere.
happens to me with Tinder.
I think you mean Grinder.
Sorry.
And someone's like, there's there's a rare Pokemon over there. I'm like, thanks. Well, just that communal experience was awesome.
Has anyone swiped the good direction on me yet?
Oh no, I finally fixed it.
Oh,
But I also can't tell because it'll only tell if
And you're a real picky bastard, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
they're not this one girl that I met at a party 6 years ago.
Exactly.
See,
Yeah,
I'm as I see these new dating things come in,
Yeah.
I'm happily in my relationship. I have no intention of doing anything apart from the relationship I'm in, but I still get a bit sad that I see.
Or
these
maybe
new
the
friends-
relationship you're in with a nice friend.
Oh, ooh, nice friend.
yeah.
But I see these because when I was going through, it was like OkCupid was the Vogue kind of.
Well, just
site.
online dating.
Which I had a
There's a
look at
bunch of them,
OkCupid,
yeah.
I just couldn't do it. It was
Yeah.
just too much for me.
Yeah, but now I'm seeing these new apps.
FetLife.
Felt
and
like, obviously.
I'm kind of jealous.
yeah.
Because I want to experience it.
It's
But-
it's just the Uber of sex.
Well, I mean, Grinder's
Dude,
been
such a good bitch.
Grindr,
We'll put that down in the game of 17. Uber of sex. Oh, yeah.
Grinder's been out for years and years and years, and it was like just a matter of getting it
Yeah.
right so that it wasn't just a bunch of creepy guys harassing girls. And it was
Yeah.
so simple as just like, you have to both match before you're allowed to have any interaction.
And that's it. They
That
solved
made
it.
it take off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how Uber Eats has been getting popularity? When are we getting our Uber Fucks?
That'd be good.
It just needs to,
That's fine.
Sorry,
Make
no
cash.
fucks are given.
Oh,
That's anyway,
surge pricing's a
so
bitch.
here's a fun one I had.
Yep.
Our biggest letdowns.
Oh.
So we already had Abzu and Battleborn.
Yep.
Yep.
My
And
other
Legion,
suggestions.
honestly.
Legion with you. Dangerous Golf
Yeah.
we already mentioned. Cat Girl Without Salad, the game that made me buy a Humble Bundle and then unsubscribe immediately because it was so fucking terrible.
I'm completely unaware of Catgirl Without Salad.
Well, it only exists if you bought the Humble Bundle. It's the only way of getting.
Oh, it was just their exclusive.
Yeah, because they have exclusive games for it,
Yeah.
and there was a Way Forward game.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like, oh yeah, we've been working this crazy shmup thing for ages. It's like unplayably bad. I was like, this is awful. Owlboy really disappointed me, especially in retrospect.
But was that bad or it just was disappointing?
Well, that's it. I'm saying disappointing here.
Yeah.
It's still a good game, but I think it doesn't do anything with its the fact you're an owlboy is meaningless.
Yeah.
Like being an owl there's like one sequence where you actually fly in the game. Well, I mean, you're always flying, but there's one thing where there's something physics about it.
Yeah.
And Far Cry Primal. Do you remember that came out this year?
Yeah, and I think you nailed it pretty well when we spoke about it in the show.
What did I say?
Well, you likened it to... It was like Far Cry Blood Dragon, but suddenly they needed the Far Cry game.
Oh, and
So
they just
suddenly
elevated it to...
got pushed through into a mainline Far Cry,
Yeah.
and I feel like
What do we got?
I feel like it's not far off the mark.
That's probably exactly how it happened. Yeah.
And I never got it. Partly because I played Far Cry 4 and I felt like this is...
Well, you see, there's sort of games where it's an open world and you have to climb towers.
You get to the top of the tower.
See, because you said you got it.
Yeah.
You didn't receive it, but I meant like you didn't understand it.
Yeah, I get it. It's like the double thing.
Yeah.
Another one that came out this year that I was disappointed with, and I just had to double check, was this year was Siege of Dragonspear, the Baldur's Gate expansion.
I thought you liked that.
I did.
You played it for weeks and weeks.
For weeks and weeks. It just underwhelmed me.
I kept getting the name wrong in the notes.
It just really underwhelmed me. Like,
Is that because you didn't... It just sat in the middle, so it couldn't go anywhere interesting?
yeah, exactly.
Anything else? Oh, No Man's Sky was the other
Well,
one.
that was the big one.
Which I am going to stand by. I think No Man's Sky is greatly over criticized for what it is. Like,
But Paul, what it is anything I want it to be. Okay, that's what's in my head.
And you know what? On the sales at the moment, on PS4, it was like $30. I'm like,
it's a $30 game. That should have been the launch price.
anyone that got it at $30 should be quite happy with No Man's Sky.
I think No Man's Sky, the game itself, is not so much the letdown as is the massive marketing fuck up. That's the real letdown. And the pricing fuck up is the real letdown.
I mean, you can argue the price in that games are so heavily undervalued generally anyway. Even we were arguing before, like Overwatch, a game that I still put in hours and hours into, I'm like, whoa, it's not worth that. It's like, well, I still paid less for it than I did for a AAA single-player experience.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as long. But it has it's different focuses and everything. And what is value? Is time the only value and all that sort of stuff? That's not an interesting conversation to have now. But yeah, I think I played that game for like 10, 12 hours and
I probably put in 15, 16 hours.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, it's quite relaxing.
I did load up because I had that
The big update, the foundation update.
I just didn't care.
Yeah.
It did nothing to fix the things that bored me.
I want them to work on the game for 2-3 more years, make it really robust, then just take all those systems and put them into a multiplayer version, and then it will be an interesting game.
I don't know if that'll happen.
I think that will exactly happen.
I hope so. I would love that game to be turned into even partially what people wanted.
I think because when it comes down to it, with all the negative feedback, all the criticisms, I still hear people on the street say, "Oh man, I heard about No Man's Sky. Yeah, that sounds cool." Yeah. And then you talk to them and you're like, "Oh yeah, I've been playing it for 40 hours now." Yeah. Like, okay. Who am I to criticize?
Another one in disappointments category. I kind of want to put in Super Mario Run.
No, I liked it. The only thing I'm disappointed in is the online.
The online, the limited, I found, the gameplay itself limited to the point where I wouldn't buy the full release.
Well, see,
levels I played.
Because I've played maybe the first couple of worlds now, and I've kind of stopped playing it now, mainly because it's too hard for me. And I think that says a lot about it. I actually think it is a decent Mario game.
Yeah,
as you play through levels, it's not just the first world. It's like they mix it up a lot.
This is going back a few years, and I'm sure there's a different phrase for it now. But it almost should have been DSiWare instead of a mobile game. If you know what I mean.
It's actually probably cheaper than DSiWare.
DSiWare was actually quite expensive.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It should have been that small game, but for a dedicated gaming system.
But I mean, this was a game designed to play with one finger. So
true. Yeah.
So it has been deliberately designed for a mobile platform.
It's designed to functionally to use a mobile phone, but not in the way that people use mobile phones in the real world.
What do you mean?
People play games on their mobile phone while watching TV. And if you're playing Super Mario Run, you can't look up.
Yeah, but if I'm playing Rayman Jungle Run, I can't look up either.
I can play it while I'm pooping.
Yeah,
which is important.
and because it's one finger while I'm wiping.
I'm actually kind of turned around on it. Now that I've played it more, and I've also reached the point in which this game is not for me because I'm terrible at Mario platformers, and I don't find them fun. But
the fact that you're actually hitting that challenge, and you're not even coin chasing at the moment, are you?
No, I just some of the levels I legitimately struggle to get through.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's because it's not just that first world. It mixes it up a lot.
I've seen some of the later stuff because I still haven't bought it because of the always online, and I've only got an iPad that isn't online. I'm going to wait till it comes out on Android because then I can be online.
I mean, even the thing of moving left to right changes. Like there are bits where you'll start like looping round, like it's designed to be like to go around it, or you start climbing like things on the roof. Like the mechanics get mixed up. So like I feel like now I've seen more of it. It's not just being an endless runner.
Yeah,
it's like no, they put effort in designing all these levels, and you can go back and play them again.
I think they don't necessarily put their best foot forward by doing the free to start and then not explaining the coins and also those first 3 levels and then 20 seconds of the fourth.
Yeah.
Or is it 4 and 20 seconds of the fifth?
20 seconds.
It's like they don't... It's not a great way to introduce people to the game. No. But it is... I think it's actually a good game.
Yeah.
And I think the price is, in a fair world, fair. Yep. In the real world, very off-putting.
Yeah. The price is fair. The price is fine.
I don't know. It depends your definition of fine.
I wish that all mobile games cost that amount.
Yeah.
Because if all mobile games cost that amount, we wouldn't have free-to-play bullshit. We just spend $10 on a good game.
Well, I even feel...
You'd still have free-to-play bullshit.
When
they're rampant on like PC, like free-to-play MMOs and shit.
Yeah, but even those...
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's to the extent of Clash of Clandoms.
If Apple had put their foot down on pricing and said minimum $5, we'd have a very different world. Which is what Microsoft did. I think they had a minimum of $3. You couldn't actually go any lower than that for their store.
It was too late then.
But it was too late because by then the proposition had shifted, and it's like, no, I'm paying $1 or nothing.
I remember when the Apple Store launched and everything was like games for $1. I was like, wow, $1. That sounds like a great future. Except unless you want to live as a developer.
Yeah. I remember getting my iPhone and I bought a couple of games and I enjoyed them. But then I was talking to friends who thought I was insane, for actually paying for apps.
Yeah, people don't like paying for stuff.
Yeah,
and then they still have to pay. It's just in sinister ways that they don't really see.
Yeah, I find even some of the media apps that we use around the house, it'll end up being on my iPad I've got the pro version of things. I spend an entire $6 buying them, but then Lisa will be trying to do the same thing on hers, and she doesn't want to use mine. But she's also like, it won't play this file. Because that's a different codec, and they actually have to license it, so it won't be in the free version. It's like, no. Not watching. It's it's $6. Yeah. It's I'm not saying I've got infinite $6 to throw around, but
infinite $6.
I mean, there's more than $6 of beer sitting on the table. Not anymore. Now it's in their bellies.
That's true.
I would though also argue that it's not worth $6 now. It is in our bellies.
Okay,
we would not get refunds for this.
Let's talk about... I did not realise, because I played it this year, I thought it was last year, but it did come out this year. Deadly Tower of Monsters is one of my little sleeper hits that I think is amazing.
I have that downloaded on my PS4 and I still haven't played it.
I can't guarantee it's for everyone.
Is that the 60s retro, sort of space?
Yeah. The whole thing's like a director's commentary.
Yeah.
Which is fun. It's all and some of the characters are stop motion. Some of them are painted cells on afterwards and stuff like that. So it plays with the aesthetic of this B movie really well. But it also just has a lot of fun gameplay mechanics. And the very idea that the entire world is just this one tower that goes up and up, and it's all loaded at once, so you can just jump off the edge and fall down the entire game, is really fun. It's it's just one of those little games that I think was really special. Didn't really get a lot of attention. But that was one of the most fun things I did this year. It's really cool. Okay. When did we start this?
A bit after 3 because I was late.
Oh, that's good. Oh no, we're doing an early record. And you got to be off soon-ish. Ish. So we'll start pushing through some other stuff. So, James, anything you would like to talk about?
Just real quick, Deadly Tower of Monsters down to $5 US on the Steam.
It was also on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. So anyone that had PlayStation Plus should have it for free. As long as they grabbed it during that time.
Yeah.
We failed to save Nosgoth.
We did. Oh, Nosgoth was great.
Nosgoth was good.
It's a shame.
It didn't come out this year, but it died this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Hitman.
Okay, episodic content done right.
The best I've ever seen it.
Yep.
It is, you got other things that did this sort of procedural release. I mean, not quite the same because you still had to pay for the season, but your Splatoons and things like that where they have this slow release over an entire year. But Hitman has not only kept people playing it, they've had time to keep all the levels they've released pretty fucking well polished.
Yeah.
And then do, like, at the moment, we were talking about last week, they have the wet bandits for Christmas,
the
for the elusive target and stuff like that. And they had Gary Busey for one. They're having fun with it.
Yeah.
And they can respond to player feedback. And now it's, like, Hitman is now the platform for Hitman. And next year, we'll just get another season of it.
Year 2 or season 2, whatever
and
they
then
call
that
it.
all feeds into the same ecosystem, so they keep having elusive targets on the same sort of maps with different mechanics and mix things up. Because half the maps we got were new maps, and half of them were just retooled versions of existing maps, which is great because it means you get to play on geometry you already understand, but with recontextualized, which is great fun.
Yeah. What I really like is that for me, I'm someone who's going to go into a Hitman level. I'm going to go, all right, I know there's squillion ways to kill. I'm probably going to pick 2. I'm going to kill them that way, and then I'm going to do the next one. And do the next one. Do the next one. Because that's the way I go through
a
Hitman game. But the amount of effort they put in for the people that want to
mousetrap it.
Well, there is so much value in that episode. The bang for buck for each of those episodes. It's not like if I buy episode 3 of whatever Telltale Batman. If I buy that, it's like, okay, I bought it. It cost me $10 or whatever, $8, whatever it is. But there's very little reason to go back and do that again. Yeah. Where the value proposition here, and this is why I think it's episodic done really well, is because it's little chunks of content. But they really built it from the ground up to go, here is just a shitload of stuff. So if you want to drop $7 on that first episode and get 30 hours out of it, you can probably do it.
And I think, because of the way they've done it, that the core gaming mechanics had to be... I mean, it's not like this isn't how you normally do a game anyway. You have to get all that locked down first. But it's locked down and released. Yeah. So it's like, nothing can fucking change. The game is set. You can add new little individual custom design things, but the actual game exists. So the whole time since then, the team has just been focused on design and being creative. And especially when they do the recontextualized levels, it's like, let's just take a level that already exists and dress it up. So I think they are having a hell of a lot of fun with it, which comes through. And for them, it'll be interesting to see what the numbers are overall. But it just has kept it in the news all year. It's like, here's a fun here's the new elusive target. They're releasing this level this week. They did this event.
I've been liking that one of the really important things on mobile games is the idea of events. The kind of, and it's been good to see that stuff coming over to PC more, because I think those things are a lot of fun. Yeah, and that's how you can get that kind of engagement from that one title throughout a year.
The TF2 events always would pull me back in.
Yeah, exactly.
And now the Overwatch stuff is really good.
Rocket League introduced hockey. I know a bunch of people who hadn't played Rocket League for a while were just like, I have to try
just get into
hockey.
it. Yeah. It's sort of where the only danger with more games doing this is that you then get the problem of, well, it's not a problem, but people talk about it a little bit with games like Overwatch and stuff like that, where someone buys it and then they play nothing but that. So even though the money's still existing and exists to Blizzard, but it kills the rest of the industry.
It's taking money from other people.
Because it takes not just the money, but all the time as well. Yeah. Because, hey, I played Hitman literally all year and didn't engage with a single other product.
I didn't need to buy any other kind of third-person action. Cause,
that was me with Rocket League last year.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That was And it's been Overwatch this year?
Not even close to the degree that I played Rocket League.
Wow.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of spare time.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about Witness before, Bring Back Mist. We actually did have a Mist revitalization with Abduction, which was a game that I thought started very strongly and ended quite weakly. But still was a really good thing to see. It was a good Kickstarter.
That's right, no one ever finishes games anyway.
I actually been finishing a lot this year. It's been good.
I finished the Magic Circle the other day.
Yeah.
And Cheryl congratulated me. It's like, oh, good job, sweetie. Because I never finish anything.
I should go back and finish that.
Oh, you should.
Because I was really enjoying it.
I know this is a 2015 thing, but if you can pick up Magic Circles, I think I got it for like
probably be a couple of bucks,
$7 or something. It's got a good ending, and it's like about 4 hours long. It's pretty short. I think I had to look up a walkthrough once.
If it's only 4 hours long, I must be near the end.
You probably are,
because I think I was feeling with the amount of tools I'm getting in the game that I was like, man, if I've got all these tools, there must be a lot of more to see.
No, in fact, actually, one of the things that kind of disappointed me a little bit was that I kind of reached the end. I had like these grand plans of like...
how are you going to design all your familiars and stuff?
Because the game encourages you to break the shit out of everything.
Yeah.
And I think the people reaching that final goal, I think a lot of people are going to do it very differently, and it's just about finding which broken method you can do to get there.
And a very quick, if you don't know, Magic Circle is a first-person game where you are inside an a great unfinished game.
Yeah.
And you get to you fuck around with the code and you steal elements from different versions of the game and stuff.
Currently
it's
$10
super
on
meta.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah, really love
Super
it.
good fun. I did finish Shantae already.
Oh, you finished?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's good. It's great. It holds up. It's beautiful.
Yep.
It's too easy, but
That's just Shantae.
yeah, that's Shantae.
Did you get the true ending, though? Because they always do the two endings.
Yeah, they do the two endings. I made sure to get the true ending.
Yeah.
I hate multiple endings.
Oh, the difference is that...
It's story-based.
Yeah, like the multiple endings is simply... In most Shantae games, you just have to collect everything. But it's not like... There's not a million things to collect.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, there's one of these in each level, get it. And then...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as long as you've got them all, you go into the final fight, and then you, get to do...
In the previous game, Pirate's Curse, it unlocked, an extra 2 stages to the final boss.
Oh, okay.
And so, ordinarily, you'd, beat the big bad guy, and everyone would be like, hey, congrats, good for you. But then, if you beat the big bad guy with the final stages, you got the proper ending where everything was
I would
happy.
assume, because they're not very creative, this is pretty much the same.
Well, I don't know. I've only played it through once to completion, and I tell you what, it's a much better game than anything you've made.
Oh, I don't know. I played some
it's really good.
demos.
You know what made me?
Oh, yeah.
You know what made me laugh?
You never played Cock Rockets.
You mentioned there was a review that gave it 7.5, and that's your opinion of the game.
Yeah.
That was the lowest review I saw of the game. Everyone else was 8.5 bit, 7.5.
I didn't play it, but I saw someone else write this number.
Yeah, I thought it was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
A bit too short. A bit definitely too easy.
Yeah.
But
I was going to pick it up, but then I got Chibi Robo Ziflash.
oh yeah,
And I don't need it anymore.
future platforming.
I actually have a lot to say about this little game, but I feel like this isn't the episode to start talking about new business.
No, I only needed to bring up Shantae now for when we get to the actual game of the year.
Oh yeah, of course, because we're crossing that. No, I mean, boo! I pick on them, but they're good
Shantae
games.
forever. Yeah, no, I mean it was an okay game. No, it was good.
Is the writing funny or is it trying?
It doesn't try as hard as the last game.
Okay.
So it doesn't try to be funny. So it's sort of that more quirky, sort of charming. The writing and the dialogue is much stripped back now.
I just find it it's a girl protagonist, so we have to talk about shampoo and shit. And I'm just like, what? I guess her hair's a thing in it.
Her hair is a main form of attacking. So your upgrades are shampoo and conditioner to upgrade your hair attacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least it's not Princess Peach crying.
That was the best. You remember the old Princess Peach DS game? Her power was you could control her emotions.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Good
Which
one.
I don't know. That's a certain level of poor taste that I just love. Anyway, stuff that happened. We also lost Iwata this year, did we not?
Yes.
I'm sure that was.
I know. 2016 was a harsh.
It's a long
mistress.
year.
Who did we lose?
Iwata.
I think that was this year.
Yeah, I'm positive he died this year. Research time.
Was Dragon Quest Builders this year or last year?
It was this year.
That was a good one. I enjoyed that one. Minecraft, a bit more of a game attached to Minecraft. Less Minecrafty, more game. Had fun with that. Good music. Multiplayer would have been nice, I guess.
Oh no, he died last year. I'm just still feeling the effects.
You still got the feels?
I'm still feeling the effects,
Still got the
man.
feels?
I'm still sad about it today, actually.
Aww.
I miss him. The Nintendo Directs are so good. Anyway, it wasn't this year, so the sadness can come later.
After the show.
Okay. Best writing I was talking about. So Uncharted 4 has got some good Firewatch, which we've already covered. A Panic at Multiverse High, I wanted to talk about because I ended up getting the full version of that.
Oh, yeah.
The dating sim that I actually like.
Yep.
Because it's written by...
So how much of
very
it is
funny...
a dating sim? How much of it is a visual novel?
Oh, it's...
I know that's a great distinction anyway. But...
Yeah, I mean, a dating sim is a visual novel. It's just... You say... Hey, basically, most of the time you choose where you're going to go on your day at school and who you're going to interact with.
Yeah,
so it actually means that there's a lot of replay in that because you can go and see all these different scenarios. It's just one of the funniest games I've played in a long time. I can't, and the thing is, it's not, you can't talk about it being like, this is why it's funny. But it's a free demo, so
Yeah.
go and have... If you ever play if you like visual novels, I think you'll still like it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like them because you think the writing is tedious and takes fucking forever to do anything, then also try it, because it is one of the quickest games I've ever played. I mean, in that genre. In a narrative, written text fiction genre, it moves real fast.
And full game's down to $5.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to throw out writing. I'm going to throw out Tyranny.
Yeah.
And not just for the good writing, but also the way it delivered it. Mm-hmm. We're using the text box at the bottom to deliver both context and more content. Mm-hmm. So I think that was... I've been playing a fair bit of Fallen London, which is a interactive, kind of a web game that came out a few years ago that's on mobile now.
Okay.
Great world, kind of this kind of gothic, funny universe.
Oh, yeah.
And I really wish it had more of Tyranny's contextual system, because just the ability to be reminded of this particular thing about the world is really handy.
I said this about Tyranny when we first talked about it, but like the massive improvements on world building compared to Pillars of Eternity, hats off to the Tyranny developers. They did great.
And I think also how they ran with the kind of playing the bad guy.
Yeah,
kind of moving away from this like kind of generic fantasy tropes and going...
But then the more you get into it, how subversive the bad guy stuff is. Because you meet agreeable people, and you're like, well, obviously I'm going to help them out, but then like, oh, it's an agreeable person who's working for the bad guys as well, so it's just like...
Yeah, it's actually nicely grounded in how the world works and how evil actually works.
Yeah. I should look at it sometime. Yeah. Also, we should have mentioned this back in shooters, Devil Daggers.
Oh yeah,
which
you
is
played a lot of that.
An incredibly, it's an arcade score attack game. The only thing that I think, and in fact, Rock Paper Shotgun gave it their game of the year.
Okay,
They're still impressed by it. Devil Daggers, amazing game. You normally last, between 30 seconds and a minute, and then you have to start again. Yeah, I just wish the game had more than the one scenario. Because it's always the same one scenario, and that's why it works as score attack, and why you can do your replays and upload them and go look at the best plays in the world and see how incredible they are and stuff like that. And such an amazing aesthetic, this sort of Quake-inspired, pixelated, just hellscape.
You just want a bit more progression?
I would like a little bit of progression in it. Like I because I'm not that good at it, I would like an ability to see some of the crazier things.
Yeah.
I actually didn't like the aesthetic. The aesthetic kept me from playing that game.
We were drooling over that since last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were like, this game looks fucking incredible.
Like, I can only put it down to personal taste.
Well, do you have much of a... Did you play a lot of Quake?
No.
Yeah, that's probably... Yeah. If you're like into 90s shooters, it's very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what my
But the animation is fucking crazy. So, and the soundscape. The soundscape just made shit yourself. Actually, if we had a sound award, which it could have been in one of these million categories right now. Music
we give to Doom.
Sound design, I might give to Devil Daggers.
Oh, sound design. Oh, I might have to think about that one for a little bit.
There's some good stuff. There are some good stuff around.
I mean, it's hard to go...
Inside has fantastic sound design.
Anything that DICE does...
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
They're almost like disqualified from being too good. Yeah. I sometimes feel like that.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes it's like, I know these few games were like really good and probably are worthy of Game of the Year, but
You've had enough success.
Yeah.
We don't need to give you more.
Yeah, why can't we... It's like, that's why we need to talk about Panic at Multiverse.
The Witcher 4 is banned from all awards.
Cyberpunk, we're never going to talk about Cyberpunk. It's just like, no, this can't be discussed.
Was the writing in Mafia 3 actually that good?
It is...
Sorry, it's just on the list.
Yeah, it's on the list.
I know you can't see the list at home, but we can see the list.
So Mafia 3, the first act is very, very well done.
Okay.
And as the game progresses, I don't know how the writing gets, because the game is boring as shit.
Yeah.
So I never saw the end of the game.
Fair enough.
But I don't necessarily think the writing, that's just the structure of the game is very repetitive and boring. But the start of it, because I think when we're talking about it, is a combination of documentary storytelling with flashbacks within the game. So it's like the narrative in the game is doing a time skip thing whilst being framed by a documentary device in the future.
Okay.
So it's like, this is actually like, it's not
quite a fun framing device.
It's not crazy, but it's like, this is surprisingly ambitious narratively.
Yeah.
And it works very well. And they give you a fantastic, by the time you're in the setup of that game, you are pumped. You are like, I know who's good. I know who I fucking hate and who I only hate a little bit. And who I'm going to do this. Like, I've got my motivation. I know who I am, and off we go.
Yeah.
And then the game becomes very bad.
Yeah.
Well, not bad, just nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a bit of a pity. But yeah, very impressive start to that. And it might continue through, but I just don't know. I've never heard anyone talk about the ending as anything. Now, I'm going to quickly go through one more category, and then we'll just throw in anything else that we think might be worthwhile, and then we'll have an argument over what we could give number 1 to.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I had the weirdest category.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Final Fantasy 15.
I'm gonna say for a Final Fantasy game, it's not that weird, just because Final Fantasy has always really mixed it up.
The amount of just
if you go
side bullshit and like the way they give you a car that can't be controlled and all this just like the choices in it are so non-standard for a video game.
I'm trying to think, like 12 was a game where it became about programming AI, and then 13.
But that's the thing. It was a game about, and it was programming the AI to do what you kind of done in every Final Fantasy.
And then we had like that thing with 13 where it was like it's this weird thing about you basically do nothing except choosing what the AI does.
Yeah.
And then like
the combat in 13 is so lacking.
But none of those games did I ever play a pinball machine for 2 hours, then go do a different paint job on my car whilst driving on the countryside, listening to Final Fantasy 3 music.
I've played like.
Is this really Shenmue 3?
I've played.
No. Shenmue is very different pacing.
I've played so many like mini games in Final Fantasy. Like the card games have always been.
Oh yeah, they've always had some sort of. It just to me, I just found the way they did everything was different for no particular reason, and I didn't think it was bad because of that. Yeah. It just meant that everything was okay. And whilst Final Fantasy, especially with the combat, always mixes things up. Like just the very narrative structure of this game is like there's no pun drive to half of it. It's sort of like we're going to have a very slow.
Was it the only game to come out this year that required a Blu-ray viewing to understand?
Yeah, yes. I still haven't watched Kingsglaive. Actually, you know one thing I did realize is that my edition came with like a printed code, a bunch of other unlockable. I haven't entered a single code. I don't care. Whatever. Also, the Tomorrow Children might be one of the weirdest games ever made.
I put that up pretty weird. Yeah. I still don't quite understand what it is.
I think it is the most brilliant criticism of the free-to-play model that still exploits the free-to-play model.
Is it up there for one of the most subversive games of the year?
I think it's super subversive.
Yeah.
I think whenever I read criticisms of it about it being repetitive and boring and pay to win, I'm like, that is the fucking point.
That's the point. Yeah.
Like, did you not get the memo? Now, I don't know if it'll make them any money. Like, there's very little money in game art most of the time.
Yeah.
But I think it's like kind of genius, and it's beautiful as well. I think it's a really fun aesthetic.
Because I tried to play it, and I think
that's so obtuse.
The town was under attack.
Yeah,
and I died. I think.
Like, you probably didn't have a license to use weapons.
I know, I didn't.
You got to get certified. I love in that game that it's like you can't talk to anyone, but other people are running around. It's like, oh, I'm going to go use that thing. Oh, there's already 3 people in line waiting, so you can just join the line. And you just stand there for 10 minutes waiting for the people in front of you. And like, because when you craft something, so there's a crafting station, so you walk up to it and you go, I'm going to craft that. And then you've got to do I think it's a sliding puzzle. Yeah. It's been a while since I played. So you successfully do it. So everyone's waiting behind you while you play a sliding puzzle. They're like, so then the item you crafted comes down this conveyor belt or whatever, and someone else can just take it. It is
it's because you make it for the community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is
There's no ownership.
Yeah, I think it's a great artwork. It's very subversive, as you say, and I've got to drop back in there and see what it's like these days. Pony Island, which we mentioned very briefly at the top of the show. I don't think it was as weird as people made out. It was like
Does it bite Undertale too much?
No, because it's you're playing an arcade game that has Satan inside it.
Okay, I'm aware of Pony Island, but I thought like it had a very Undertale feel of like subversive and unexpected changes.
No, I think it's nothing. I don't think there's anything particularly subversive about it. It's more just unexpected.
Yeah, it's playing with like the concepts of video game. Like there's a little puzzle game in there. There's a basic arcade game, and then it's almost like the Magic Circle, where it's like we're going to expose parts of the mechanics behind this, and then you're allowed to play with those mechanics. Like it was a fun little thing.
Yeah.
I certainly really enjoyed my time with it. But I don't really see me going back.
I kind of.
You struggled with the action game, didn't you?
The action game part, and even like the other puzzle parts, I just didn't really click with me. Yeah, it's not really.
Well, it was Astro.
It's not a very big
Should've.
criticism. Yeah,
I'm very funny.
Yeah, good joke.
I'm here all next 10 minutes. And then, actually, game that we spoke about a lot for a while and then totally forgot. Pocket Card Jockey on the 3DS. Which was
you loved, right?
Which was the solitaire horse racing game.
I was playing Solitaire on my phone because Microsoft Solitaire came out on iOS.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find it.
And you're like, if only this was tied to a horse racing game?
And I was just playing Solitaire going, this mechanic's great. I should combine it with something else. And no, I should get Pocket Card Jockey.
And it's a really good game. It's still such a weird thing. Like, you do end up becoming a better horse racer. It's about doing things accurately and fast, getting the cards out, and there's multiple stages of the race, and then you've got to do like a strategic planning line of okay, run this way, but you're predicting where other horses will be, and where will be the best position to be running in at what point of the race, and there's cards to collect as you do it, so you've got to, will I take the risk to get those cards, and then I could use them in my final boost to keep my energy up.
Nintendo bring that to mobile phone?
I don't think Nintendo makes it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it should.
Yeah.
It definitely...
It sounds like...
There's nothing about it that wouldn't be a mobile phone game.
Yeah, it sounds like it should be a mobile phone game.
It would be a very good one.
Genital jousting not considered weird amongst your circles?
No, it's
no, it's normal.
It's straightforward. It's about penises entering anuses.
Yeah,
it is just...
The name says it all.
Yeah.
What are you confused by?
It's all good. Also, I put it on there.
Another nominee for Soundscape, by the way.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then I realised it's early access, so not technically released on it. It's great games like Overcooked. That was really good. Ultimate Chicken Horse. I don't know if that's full release yet. That's really good. But yeah. So is there anything else we want to mention before we have a little bit of an argument?
Forza 3.
Oh yes,
because we don't speak about racing games much.
Actually, I want to mention one thing after that. But yeah.
Every time I try a racing wheel, though, there's part of me that goes, I want a racing wheel so bad. I want the seat, and I want the pedals, and I want the gear stick.
If you go, you want to go full racing wheel. Don't fuck around. Just get
I'm not going to buy some Logitech bullshit thing for $200. I'm putting
you want cable force
feedback. I'm putting thousands. I might hollow out an actual car.
Yeah, you're going to buy
install a computer,
a chassis of a Formula One.
Yeah, and I'll lift the engine, and there'll be 3 1080s in there, liquid cooling.
Anyway.
4K screens all around.
Because we actually haven't spoken about much Xbox One stuff either, because none of us, even though I have an Xbox One,
actually the other game I want to talk about is...
Oh, okay. Yeah. Horizon 3, Horizon open world driving set in Australia, which was really cool. We don't see a lot of stuff set in Australia, but as far as a open world, relaxing driving experience goes, very, very well delivered.
I hear the car collection is awesome.
Yep. There was, as someone who is not a car person, I think this always speaks volumes to the quality of a racing game. If I'm not a car person, I just refer to a Formula One as a thing.
It's the first Formula.
Yeah.
So it says a lot about where I stand on cars. I just found it really enjoyable, really good sense of progression through kind of unlocking things. That the zoning of all the worlds had each area you unlocked would have a very distinct kind of play style. So you'd really mix it up a lot as you went through it. Really fun online.
Performed well too, I think.
Or runs really smooth. Runs really nicely. Looks really great. The authenticity of the world is really well realized. I think that's where it's not going for...
If you park your car at a Coolangatta McDonald's to youths...
Yeah, you get keys. Yeah. Once I had someone throw KFC potato and gravy at my car.
What?
Years and years ago. And the thing is, if that stuff hits your car and you do not remove it immediately, it just sets.
I imagine it would just burn through the car. No, because I think it was Coolangatta one time, pulled up at one of those, the Gold Coast has those weird shopping centres that are beachfront.
I do from Forza 3.
Forza 3, yeah. Pulled up one of those, and kids just started whipping ice cubes at us.
Damn kids.
It's a bit rough.
But I assumed they were kids, but it's the Gold Coast, so it may have been 40-year-olds.
I haven't actually gone back to Forza 3 recently, though, because my Xbox Live subscription ran out. And I won't be playing online any people, so no.
So you're not interested without the online people?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay, so I've highlighted a few ones just to quickly mention.
Yep.
So what I wanted to mention was Recore, which I think is going to be the game that's going to have the bestest sequel if one can get made. Like, I still really like Recore. It's not without its problems. I thought some of the performance issues... I was playing on PC. On PC, I was fine.
Yeah.
On Xbox, they got improved, but still Recore is like that little third-person Metroidvania-ishy
the little
robot
third-person
thing.
Yeah.
I like the combat, but it was a little bit repetitive. It needed a bit more mixing it up. And they still... There's one of the robot friends that still hasn't been released. I think it's coming in January.
Oh, okay.
And what they haven't said yet is whether it's going to be paid or free.
Oh.
It better be free.
I think
after all of the shit that game's been through, they've got to give it to the community. Especially since it's just in the game. Like, because it locks off a whole area.
Yeah.
People have worked out how to get to the area.
But they can't because they don't have the
well, you can't genuinely get to it. But you get, and it's missing a few things in there. So it's a whole area in the game that's just cut out waiting for this bot that wasn't finished yet. So anyway... but I still thought it was really fun. So 2 fan games which were amazing this year. We had the Another Metroid 2 remake and Enderall, which made Skyrim fun.
He's right.
Yeah. Headlander from Double Fine, which I thought was really, really cool.
Great style. Great visual style.
Yeah, any game where I can rip off someone's head.
Any game with Zardos references.
I still stand by. If they just add a little scream sometimes when the head got ripped off, that game would be a 10 out of 10. just a little... Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's how it comes. Hyperlight Drifter, one of the best action games of the year. Really minimalist storytelling, really open world, great action. Then they added the 60 frames per second version, which makes the game so much more responsive and so much better combat-wise. But it's kind of insane, because I believe it's a Game Maker game.
Oh, okay.
So to make it 60 frames per second, they basically had to remake the entire game.
They should.
They had to do every timing, every animation, and everything.
Well, if you write good software, it ends up being a pretty trivial thing. Just saying.
Well, but if you're using Game Maker, not so much.
Depends how Delta Time works. I can't remember.
Well, you set it. Well, with these projects, you had to set it at the beginning of the project, and all the timings are based on the timings of 30 frames per second.
So the ways you do it is you have a thing called Delta Time, which is the time between frames. So generally, whenever you say you want to move from A to B and you move at a certain speed, you multiply it by Delta Time. So you know how much you moved since the last frame. So as long as you're multiplying everything by delta time...
But this is all based on like hand-drawn animation and everything at 30 frames per second. So they had to add frames and shit.
Animation's a bit different. You're making new assets.
Yeah, we're primarily talking about the animation.
Okay, alright. Because my programmer brain was just going... No,
movement is somewhat trivial. When it comes to animation, it becomes a bit...
Animation's a bit different.
In disappointments that we missed out on, Mirror's Edge Catalyst...
I never touched it, actually.
No one did.
I thought, that's probably...
man. You're right.
I keep forgetting it exists.
You're right, because something which, like, there was a lot of apparent anticipation for that game.
First game is beloved.
There was a lot of reported anticipation for that game.
No, they set it out to die.
And then it came out, and I was like...
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Unravel, which everyone was, that's cute, but it ended up being kind of hard. And people didn't want that. And then just other games that I marked off as interesting. Mother Russia Bleeds, I thought was a really, really cool beat-em-up with a nice couple of fun things in there. Rive, which Two Tribes' last game, which I think is incredible. Severed, which was Drink Boxes, a follow-up to Guacamelee.
Which is like their kind of first-person dungeon crawler. With crossed with Fruit Ninja.
Slayaway Camp, which I think was a really out-of-nowhere puzzle game this year, which was really good.
Executed.
And XCOM 2 came out this year.
Did any of us play it? Did you play it?
Yeah, I played a bunch of it. Yeah, it was a good continuation of the story.
No, that's good.
Good kind of like stop turtling by putting a lot of time limits on doing things. It's good.
Okay, so at the moment, our Game of the 16 nominations are Overwatch, Doom, The Witness, Superhot, Firewatch, Uncharted 4, Pokemon Go, and Hitman. Are we missing anything that's worthy of a nomination here?
Worthy of a nomination, Tyranny, I think, for me. In terms of taking a genre and making it better. It should be the Blizzard Award for taking a genre and making it better. Weirdly not won by Blizzard this year.
Astro Attack?
Yeah, Astro Attack.
It's,
probably one of the games. You know, that is genuinely in like my top 5 most played games this year. Just because I poop regularly. The healthy diet...
it's good to know.
I'm trying to think.
I like to think that I've helped many a bowel movement.
Okay. So,
Fuck. No, there were other games. I sort of had my top 5 sorted. And I can't
but this is just, we're picking one.
Right.
So unless you think you can take out number one, don't bother.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone nominate one that is cancelled.
Cancelling one.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, we're doing it this way.
Strike one out.
Shit. Now, like, there's pressure.
Which one of us is going to cancel Astro Attack?
Maybe we'll get number one. Let's find out. Hey, remember, we did that panel at PAX
Oh,
where
that was
we
terrible.
gave No Man's Sky the best video game. No Man's Sky's trailer the best video game of all time.
Look, do I have to pick first? I'm going to put one on the
May as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to knock out Pokemon Go. I'm going to
Yeah,
knock it
that
out.
was on my
because
knockout list.
while there is a lot of, like, the cultural impact...
Culturally big, but not a good game.
Game's not that great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeremy.
I'm going to knock out Uncharted 4.
You motherfucker! That was going to be my number one.
Really?
Yes!
You know why
Because-
it gets knocked out?
Why?
Because of the number 4.
I don't, like, but as a video game, as a video
game,
the
yeah.
art of making a video game.
But it gets knocked out for the same reason Sun and Moon got knocked out.
Guys,
What?
Overwatch.
This is just worse.
I need my list.
This is just gonna get petty.
Now it's just this is no longer our best game of the year.
I'm going next. I'm taking out Doom.
Oh no, see, I didn't want another one of those Destiny situations.
all right.
Okay. So what do we got? We got.
Wait,
you know what? We're going to do another round of
No,
cancellations.
wait, yeah, okay, Jeremy, you got to pick one. Oh no, you did. All right, so it's back to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I've already picked
Oh.
Doom. Trust Doom.
Fuck
Doom
off,
it.
Tyranny. You're gone.
That's fair enough. It wasn't. It just deserves a nomination.
No, it's a great game.
It never deserved to go.
Astro. You know what? That never deserved to be.
Oh, the shade.
All right, now pick another one.
Okay. Oh shit. Those are all games I really like. Okay. Okay. I'm going to actually pick. I'm going to get rid of my favorite.
Oh shit.
Okay, so I got rid of SUPERHOT, leaving us with The Witness, Firewatch, and Hitman. Oh, I shouldn't have got rid of SUPERHOT. Oh well.
Dude.
Okay, so now you can put a vote.
Nope. Witness. Vote for the Witness.
Vote for The Witness.
Vote for The
Okay.
Witness.
Of those
Vote
two,
for The
Firewatch.
Witness. Firewatch.
Holy shit. They're all good. They're all good,
They're all
Paul.
good. They're all good.
Oh.
Boop.
No.
Yes! I
So-
think we called it beginning of the year.
Number
You
3.
didn't even finish the game.
Number 3 is Hitman. Number 2 is Firewatch, which leaves us with this year the game of 2016, The Witness.
And if I put on my game designer hat, I totally fucking agree. Artistically, it looks great. Game design is great.
Just wait, I forgot to put Inside on this list.
I'm putting it out there.
Inside.
Witness, no fucking story.
But I don't know, but it's on.
It's half a game.
But story is like.
Story is very important to me.
Go read a book. I want to see if you're gonna like make the most of the genre, the most of the media.
Inside to the end now. I'm just going to add a vote for each of us to what I think we'd all need to vote for. So then it goes. So now it's The Witness is number 1 still. Then it's Inside. Then Firewatch. Then Hitman.
All right, I'm going to do this one where the squiggly line does the crossing out, and it gets 5. It gets 8.5.
Jeremy Game of the Year can go to Overwatch. I think we can agree to that. Can we?
The Jeremy's Game of the Year.
Yeah,
can
just
go to
go
Overwatch.
to Overwatch.
Jeremy Godey is Overwatch.
Just like James.
Let's all just have the
James' Godey's Uncharted 4. I just think it's
yeah,
amazing.
fair enough.
What's your
Like,
Godey?
Honestly,
Witness,
the reason
Genital Joust?
the reason Overwatch gets my Godey over Doom and Uncharted 4
Yeah.
is because it's the new IP.
Also, we haven't said the word Stardew Valley or Dark Souls 3.
We haven't.
We haven't said any of those words.
I was expecting an alarm to go off. We said Dark Souls 3. Was Dark Souls 3 this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think, and that's probably because we've had 2 of them.
I'm waiting for the Switch version.
That will be amazing.
And that was my plan. Ooh.
No, you know what I realized?
Yeah.
The Switch version of Dark Souls 3 is amazing to me because I can play it in bed and they just immediately cry into my pillow. I won't have to walk away from a computer.
How many are going to be destroyed by being thrown against a wall?
Oh, man, no more than like Smash or Mario Kart, wouldn't you?
So a lot.
Because Mario Kart is a game you're supposed to succeed at, whereas
Yeah.
Dark Souls is a game you're supposed to fail.
Nintendo hardware tends to be pretty robust, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Like, do you remember all those videos of Wiimotes going through TV screens?
People were silly. Okay, thank you for joining us in the year of 2016. We've been 8.5-bit. I've been your host, Paul.
I've been James.
I've been Jeremy.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, everything else we do, Instagram. Subscribe to iTunes, and if you do, please leave us a review because reviews help us share the love. We will catch you all in the new year. We'll be talking about...
episode.
For our 200th episode. Well, I mean, we've done way more than that. We've actually done over 300 episodes, but
there's been a few.
But the numbering's changed for several reasons. But still 200.
200. I don't know if I'm going to be here for that episode.
Yeah, we'll work something out. As in, we'll just get someone that's better than you.
It's not hard.
Yeah, maybe Toast can sit there.
Toast.
Looking, did you like toast? I like biting your toes.
Game of the year. Bulb's toes.
And don't forget, the witness is Game of the Year. So
Called it.
We did call it real early in the year.
Yep.
We did, but then
Well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Exactly.
You can't be like, hey, later in the year, I'm going to make this decision, and then claim to be prophetic.
yeah,
I still think it deserves it after all this time to sit on it.
It's kind of amazing. I'm gonna replay it. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten the puzzles by this point. Okay, catch you all next year.
See you, everyone.